Welcome back one more time, and welcome back once more for good measure to the Rage Select podcast right here on Rage Select. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the only podcast where both of your hosts can count to 5 in Spanish. We just established that we both know how to count to 5 in Spanish, which is very useful, you know, when it comes to video game news, being able to count to 5. I mean, how are you going to talk about Final Fantasy V versus Final Fantasy Quattro if you don't know how to count to 5? Nobody's talking about Final Fantasy V. That was a bad one. No
one ever brings up Final Fantasy V. I don't know anyone who brings that game up ever.
I'd like to think that there was one person listening who was like, what is Cinco? And they were like, oh, thank you, Michael, for explaining which one that is.
No, there absolutely is somebody, and he's probably me, but yeah.
Yeah. So we got I don't know, it's a weird week. I mean, I always say that. I guess I got maybe preamble this with like, I know how, okay, Michael, you know how I'm always like tired, and I'm always just tired. Every time we record a podcast, I'm like, I haven't gotten any sleep. Well, I really haven't gotten very much sleep this week.
What was the reason this time?
Well, on Tuesday. Okay, so the thing is that it's kind of Hitman related, but not for the reason that you might think.
Okay.
I don't know what fucking horse shit this is. You were over here, but apparently Hitman didn't have a midnight, quotey fingers, midnight launch, which normally if you buy a digital game on the console, on the PlayStation, it unlocks at 11 p.m. Central Time, which is midnight Eastern Time, and you can play the game. And I was all set. I was like, okay, I'm going to play this game. But they were like, no, it unlocks at 6 a.m. because it's like midnight fucking Greenwich Mean Time or something. And I was like, God, no.
Did you stay up to 6 to play that game?
Oh, fuck no. Oh, God, no. No, I'm too... Man, I am too old for that shit. But what I did do is I had this leftover Chinese food, and I ate it, and it gave me really bad food poisoning on Tuesday night.
That's somehow way worse than that, though.
Yeah, and then I, like, couldn't sleep because my stomach kept waking me up, and I kept having to go to the bathroom. And then on Wednesday, I was super tired, but, like, once I got done with everything, I was like, all right, I finished recording with Matt. I'm going to play a little Hitman 3. And you know what? I'm just going to play a little bit. I'm going to get some sleep. And then at like, I don't know, 1 o'clock, I got to the last level. And it was like,
oh my God.
Well, I'm not going to stop now. So I didn't. And then I ended up going to sleep really late, and I played all the way through Hitman 3. So
I know the feeling.
It's not difficult, Michael, because, like playing the level one time, well, that ain't shit, right? There's like 6 levels in the game. Each level takes an hour maybe to finish. Like it's not, the joy is playing them over and over and over and over again, not just playing through it one time. So
I gotcha.
But yeah, it's funny because I also was realizing when we came to the podcast that I you know how here at the beginning we always talk about like, what did you do last week? Did you watch something? Did you listen to something? I used it all up this week on the videos. Like I kind of
did.
I watched that House movie, that Japanese movie House. Talked about that a bunch of times. Yeah,
or as people say.
We talked about WandaVision last week. We're recording this before the next episode is out, so I can't talk about WandaVision. Like. I watched like the trial of the Chicago 7 on Netflix, but that doesn't make for a good thumbnail. What am I going to put Joseph Gordon-Levitt in a suit? So, Michael, tell me did you do anything fun last week? Did you do anything really interesting?
I brought it up very quickly last time, which was that I watched the new season of Disenchantment, because Disenchantment came out the same day as WandaVision, which is why most people forgot that season 3 came out.
Sure.
Which is unfortunate, because it's probably the best season of the entire show, like, period.
Okay.
Like, that show is very meh as hell, and the first season I thought was okay. The second season I could barely get through, to be honest. But the third season, I fucking plowed through that thing, because it was just so enjoyable. It reminded me of the better stuff that, Matt Groening's known for, and it's really funny, and it moved the plot along a lot better than the second season did. And like every season, it ends on another cliffhanger. And so it's really good about that sort of thing.
Let me ask you, like, I don't have any interest in watching 2 seasons of a boring television show. Is it one of those ones where because I know that Disenchantment, more than Futurama or The Simpsons or any of that other stuff, has like a meta narrative. Do you need to have seen the boring first 2 seasons in order to understand really what's going on in season 3? And you'd be honest, it's just you and me talking here. Nobody else is listening.
Unfortunately, for the way the show is structured, you actually would need to know like what would happen in the first 2 seasons. Is really the only, because there's a lot of stuff that gets paid off that was set up in the first couple seasons.
Okay,
that was being paid off consistently in season 3, to the point where there was a guy who showed up, and I was like, I don't remember you at all, and it's like, oh, because he was in like this one season 1 episode that I didn't remember very well. Kind of thing, and like stuff like that. Like it's weird because it's such a long running story. They even make a gag about it because of the criticisms they were getting about the fact that they're like, it doesn't look like they know where they're going, and they make a quick gag. They're like, it looks like we don't know where we're going, but it turns out they laid it out this whole time. Kind of thing is the gag. A lot of the episodes are also written by some of Matt Groening's kids. I think Abe Groening specifically shows up a lot in the credits for all the episodes. It's a really solid season, like legitimately. Like I like if people are watching it and they were just kind of meh about it, I think the 3rd season will win them over, probably the best of it out of it. And it actually makes me excited for more of it, which is not how I felt at the end of season 2 originally.
Okay. I actually was going to say before we started that I don't know, depending on, I mean, the podcasts have gotten ridiculously long, so I don't know if we're going to get to the place I would normally talk about it. But after finishing Hitman 3, I actually was thinking today about how I might not recommend Hitman 3 to like for people who aren't fans of Hitman, because I was thinking back to when Hitman 2 came out. You remember how Hitman 2, they had like the sniper level, they had like the ghost mode, they had the elusive contracts. None of that is in this game. Like, there's no new elusive contracts. I don't think ghost mode, it might still be as a remnant from RE2, but it definitely didn't seem like there were any, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I need to look at it again. I know there's no new sniper levels. And the thing is that there are 6 levels. The last one is a little weird. It's less like a Hitman level. It's a little strange. Like it maybe is. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but it's just different to a point where you got a bunch of level. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in Hitman 3. And like the elusive contracts aren't there. Like I bought the collector's edition and it came with like, there's going to be new escalations, like premium escalations, which are the ones where you just have to kill X guy with X thing. And then it's like part 2 is there's like a bunch of limiters, and part 3 is there's even more limiters. So I don't think it's as fully featured as Hitman. And the other thing is that like Hitman 2 added the briefcase, it added the picture-in-picture for watching targets. It kind of was a more of a what I would think of a graphical jump, whereas this one it's like, well, they've got these like shortcuts that you can open up, that when you open them up they stay opened up, like the next time you go to the level they're opened up so you can get places faster. And then they've got this camera that you can use for some puzzles that are built into the 3rd one, but there's not a lot of like gameplay enhancement. Now all that's fine with me because I was into the story, but I know there are plenty of people who are just like, Hitman has a story, and I'm like, don't even get me started. I'll start talking. I will start saying words, and you'll be like, what the fuck are you even saying out loud right now? So
Agent 47 wants a Coca-Cola, and he has to murder so many people to get one.
That's right. But the big thing is that, Hitman 2 had the 2 DLCs, right? So when you got to like the Hitman 2 Game of the Year edition, you had the, what was it, like 5 or 6 normal levels, and then you had the Golden Handshake, which was the bank level, and then you had Haven Island, and those were big expansion levels. And I don't think, because the game's story kind of ends at the end of the game, I don't know if I haven't heard anything about whether there's going to be DLC levels. And I know that because, or here's what I know. I looked at the description of buying like the premium edition of Hitman, which I would never do for any other video game, but I'm just like, give up. I'm going to pay for it all. Give me all the Hitman. I want all the Hitman. And the description didn't make any mention of like future upcoming expansions or levels or anything like that. And I feel like if they did have expansion levels, they'd have to go like in between the existing levels of Hitman 3. But I don't think that would work. So I don't even know if
that's
there's
not unheard of, though, is the thing.
Yeah.
I know a few games have done stuff like that. Like I know the Ace Attorney 5 had a DLC that's technically before most of the game takes place.
Yeah. And I don't know. The way the story is set up, I don't think it would make sense for there to be DLC in between any of the levels, because the levels, more than any of the other games, the levels have a very tight storyline where each level very much leads into the next level thematically. And so like putting something in there would kind of bust that up. I mean, I guess they could put something at the end, or they could just release things that are just like, this was 40 years ago. In fact, it would be interesting if they, because the Hitman 3 launcher is like all of the levels in chronological order, technically I guess they could put out DLC levels that took place before Hitman 3. And like if you had Hitman 3, it would just be marked as like, this is a prologue level. And if you had all of the games, it would be like, this took place in season 2 between these two levels, and like this is where that goes.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just feel like at this moment, I watched a YouTube video of this really snarky guy on YouTube being like, Hitman 3 is garbage and you shouldn't buy it. It's just like Madden where they don't ever update anything. And I'm like, this is hyperbolic and this is stupid. But like, I was about to say I'm man enough. Like it takes a lot of like guts and brawn to criticize a game you like. What this is what the internet.
Are you bad enough, dude, to criticize your games?
Right. Are you bad enough, dude, to say that Dark Souls isn't the best game of all time? I can definitely see where people who aren't really invested in Hitman, like I really don't think Hitman 3 would be a good place for somebody to start playing Hitman.
Okay.
Like I think it would be better to start at least at 2, if not at the first one, and then just go all the way through. And I could definitely see a case being made for like, if you aren't super into this, maybe wait for it to be on sale. This is video games, you know, like it's going to be on sale in 3 months. There's going to be a fucking $45 flash sale on, take your pick, the Xbox store, where you're going to be able to get it cheaper.
Man, up on Game Pass, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 are both on that Stadia Pro subscription at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. And Hitman 2, I think one of those was already on Game Pass. I don't remember. But anyway, I like it. It's good. It's fun. I think I'm going to turn off the adaptive triggers on my PlayStation because they really want me to push down hard to shoot the guns, and it's kind of fucking with my aim. And I'm like,
I gotcha. Yeah. That would be very frustrating very quickly.
Yeah. Anyway, well, let's move from one game that Jeff is super excited about and wants to play super, super, super bad to another video game that Jeff is excited about and wants to play super, super, super bad, because we had a Resident Evil showcase today, which was maybe one of the best examples of like, you know, okay, I'm not a fan of E3 anymore, Michael. I'm like, just put on your own showcase. But then we've come across these situations where a game company basically has a trailer and a press release and like some bullshit, and then they're like, here's our showcase. And it's like, you didn't need to do this. You could have put these trailers on YouTube and it would have been fine. You didn't need a blonde lady in a goth dress to stand in front of a green screen and introduce like the developer of the franchise. I didn't understand why they did that shit with Cyberpunk, and I don't understand it here. But good news. I don't know. I don't know about you, Michael. You didn't get to watch all this, but like, I think Resident Evil 8 looks fucking tight. Like I want to play Resident Evil 8 real bad.
Well, that's the thing about Resident Evil. After Resident Evil 7, like we wanted more of that.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil 8 looks like it's going to be more of that, and I'm totally cool with that. I only saw like one trailer of it, of the new one, or not the old trailer, but the new trailer they came out with during this whole showcase. But it looks, I'm interested. Like that's all you really have to say about it, to be honest.
It does. I mean, I got to tell you, it's like of all the, I know there's a lot of people and they're just like, what's up with that tall lady? What's up with the werewolves? Why? And I'm just like, how the fuck did you get to Eastern Europe, Ethan? Like, what? That's my question. What series of events brought you to a fucking castle full of 9-foot-tall vampire vixens to fight? Because, like, I get...
the 7's in Louisiana, so it's like, that's a really far away from anywhere you were. You didn't just drive there looking for your wife. That's not the same sort of situation.
Maybe he flew there looking for his wife. There's some stuff at the beginning of this trailer that very much just like smacks to me of like, oh, your wife Mia's gone again. She had a relapse. She went full zombo again and just ran off into the night and then called you
Is
from
it like Die Hard 5 where he has to like fly to Russia or whatever?
Yes.
This kid.
Yes, Resident Evil 8 is the Die Hard 5 of survival horror games.
That would be horrifying.
That
to be honest.
would be really terrifying. Of course, you would have Murder Copter or Murder Trucker. I forget what that one. I watched that movie with Chris for one of us. So okay, there's a lot of stuff going on in this trailer. One of the things I really like is apparently the big tall lady. Wait, I know her name. It was on the PlayStation blog. I looked it up. That's not the PlayStation blog.
You mean the internet's going to Rule 34 the shit out of Tall Lady? Because that's what they're going to do.
They already have. I believe that now they're Rule 34ing the shit out of the tall ladies like little vampo daughters that get up in your face and go. Ah.
I'm shocked, Jeff. Shocked.
I was on the Resident Evil subreddit. And somebody just had a screenshot of one of those ladies where they had framed it they had stopped it at a moment where you could kind of see down their shirt. And I was like, oh, internet, change now. She is named Lady Dimitrescu. You tell me, you read this word. What's that word say right there?
Lady Dimitrescu.
It's
so
me.
This is clearly Die Hard 5. He's going to Russia. I knew it.
Actually, I saw somebody say that the currency that was in the demo. Oh shit! There's a demo. Yes, there is. Is Polish. But I mean,
that's neat.
I'm not was not to imply that Poland and Russia are the same place. I know that.
No.
I know that for a fact. Okay.
Wait, that they're the same country?
That they're not the same country.
Oh, okay.
Not the same country. So, okay, we got a release date. That was one of the big things. March 7th, 2021. Oh my God, there's so much fucking collector's edition. There's a digital collector's edition. There's the physical collector's edition that comes with a Beef Redfield statue, like a box. Look at how big Chris's head is in this statue of Chris Redfield. Like he's very
big.
He's very broad across the chest, but I think that Chris is skipping leg day according to the statue at least.
Well, it's like the opposite of Chris from Resident Evil 5 where his shoulders and arms were the size of that character's head on that statue.
Yeah.
That's the opposite. It's all going to his head.
So yeah, there is a super collector's edition. There is a bundle now that you can get that has Resident Evil 7 with all the DLCs and everything, and 8. So you can buy both of them together if you want.
I actually never got around to the DLCs to 7.
Well, let's see. I think they're worth it. There's the one where you have to play. Okay, so there's like there's the
tapes.
Yeah, there's playing poker with the sun. Or blackjack, where it's like this Saw version of blackjack, where you're playing against somebody, but every time you lose, it gives you like an electric shock, but you can like cheat. That one's okay. There's a prequel one that shows like the night that they got the little girl and the family kind of falling apart, which is kind of cool. There's the bedroom one, which is amazing, where the mom keeps coming back and you have to like try to put everything back where it was, like Misery style, or she like vomits in your face. But my favorite one, I listened to the Bonfireside Chat guys. They went through this. And they fucking hated this, but like, there's totally a DLC, the Zoe's story, right, where you play as Jack's swamp dwelling brother, and the whole mechanic is that you're like eating grubs out of like rotten trees, and your main thing in that game is that you're punching zombies. Like it's literally, you don't get any guns. It's like left trigger, right trigger, and you're punching zombies. You're punching those infected. You're throwing like a spear at an alligator. It's really weird.
Oh wow!
And the climax is so goofy, but I absolutely love it. So I don't know. Maybe if you're gonna get it, if they've got a good deal, I don't know how much this is, but yeah. And then they had the actual. Now, which of these trailers did you watch? That first trailer that I showed you?
I think it was the first trailer.
Okay, so you didn't watch like the quote unquote gameplay trailer?
I did not.
It's really dull. It's mostly just walking around, except that there's like a gun out on the screen.
Oh, he's looking for a kidnapped daughter?
Yeah.
That's what it says there?
Yeah.
Is it his daughter or somebody else's daughter? Is it the president's daughter again?
It's the president's daughter. Secret Leon. Turns out that this was a secret Leon prequel the entire time. They talk a lot about like how much work they did making like this castle and all the little rivets and the fucking carpets and the drapes and all this shit. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Apparently, let's see. You're gonna have to fight these like crazy daughters of what's her face. And I like they all talk about, they're all like really hung up on the fact that you're a man. They're like, ooh, man blood. So they got
picturing, what was it from Roger Rabbit where it's like, oh man.
Oh yeah, Lena Hyena. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we've got giant lady Dimitrescu. And the one thing that they talk about is they actually show some of the combat, and they say that one of the things they're going to be adding in this one is that they're going to try to focus more on like both shooting and then like blocking. That like if you're shooting enemies and they get too close to you, you can block. And it seems like the blocking might instigate like a counterattack, like QTE type of thing. Is it weird for me to say, Michael, that like I trust Capcom? Like there's been a lot of Resident Evil games and a lot of them do shit that I don't like, but there hasn't been one yet where I feel like the combat mechanics were so they grated on me to the point where I didn't enjoy the moment-to-moment just kind of gameplay of the game.
Well, that's the one thing I'll always give the Resident Evil franchise is that I've never felt like their gameplay wasn't good. It was the actual like things that were going on in the gameplay that wasn't good,
right? Kind
of thing that happens. Even the weirdest one being in Resident Evil 6, which is Wesker's son. He had a melee focused system,
yeah,
unlike everybody else, and even then I had fun with that. It was weird, but I loved kicking the shit out of it, like because it was OP as hell if you know how to use it correctly. But yeah, they were always pretty good about that.
I feel like for the most part, the criticisms of Capcom have more to do with like what they do with their stories or what they do with their games, and less to do with like, does it feel good? With the exception maybe of like, we're gonna get to it, but I don't feel like Capcom has ever made a multiplayer game like not a like Street Fighter, not a fighting game, but like another kind of multiplayer game. Like they keep trying, and I keep going, nah, bro, I do not want to play your multiplayer games. They're not very good.
They get kind of close with some of them, but they always like don't put any work into them after they're already out.
Right.
Like I liked the multiplayer thing with it was like a horde mode that was in Resident Evil 6. I was a big fan of that thing, but they put nothing in it afterwards. It was just out, and then that was it. And then they tried to make that like a whole thing, but they made it worse instead of making it better. And then they just keep fucking that up. And then there was the what was it, the Operation Raccoon City one.
Oh yeah,
they threw a bunch of like multiplayer in that didn't work out too well either.
Oh, that was all supposed to be like co-op multiplayer, and then
it was just a pain in the ass.
And then Umbrella Corps, Umbrella Squad, Umbrella whatever the fuck it was. That
was
one.
The worst aspect of their multiplayer attempt. Like it was just so fucking bad.
You know what? I'm gonna go before somebody jumps into the comments to say it. I'm gonna go and say that like I don't even like the multiplayer when they try to shoehorn in Resident Evil 5 and 6 how they tried to be like, Resident Evil is a multiplayer game now. You want to play it with your partner, and I'm like, I do not want to do that. This game would have been better if you had just had a very, very good AI, and I didn't like feel the need to babysit a bad computer person. And then I really liked Resident Evil Revelations 1, but Revelations 2 was like built from the ground up to be heavily co-op, to the point where if you're playing it by yourself, you had to flip between the different characters, and I was just like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, luckily for Resident Evil 6, I played that entire game with Hilario all the way through. We had a blast because we were also just fucking around the entire time.
Sure.
But that's like one of the reasons why some people enjoy stuff like that. But the issue is that if you make it your main focus, it does cause issues, like you said, where you're having to deal with an AI that doesn't really know what to do.
Yeah. So back to the trailer. They're bringing back the suitcase. So the RE4 suitcase Tetris is back. And then they also had this really crazy thing they talk about. They're like, this time around, we've added crafting. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like every RE game, you put the two herbs together, you put the gunpowder and the fucking, whatever that other thing is, you make like lightning bullets or grenades. Like every Resident Evil game I've played, most all of them have had some form of crafting where they're like, we've added crafting. And then the screen they show when they say they've added crafting is literally like herb plus fluid equals first aid. And it's like, wasn't that already a fucking thing like that? Come on, guys.
I guess 7 might have pulled back on crafting, I guess. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
No.
But I don't remember that not being in there either, like you said.
No, you'd have the gunpowders and combine them and make bullets. Or, at the very least, you had the green herbs, red herbs, yellow herbs.
That's what I mean. Like I don't know what they mean by that.
Yeah,
it's always been a thing.
I mean,
unless you're gonna start making diamond swords or something, I don't really understand.
If you could like make a gun, then maybe. But even when you think about, there's kind of a way of crafting.
Thinking quickly with some string, a squirrel, and a gun, he made a gun.
Like attaching different pieces to different guns. They've had that in a few of them. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I guess like if you look at this UI, there's like green herbs and then like gears parts. So maybe they've expanded it a little bit. Maybe that's what they mean. I haven't played the demo yet. By the way, there's a demo. Shock. They're also like, there's also a lot of weapons in this game. Michael, this Resident Evil game has a bunch of guns in it. I don't know if you know this, but
that is kind of insane though. Because the last one didn't even have that many guns, to be honest. It had a decent amount of guns, but I feel like the other ones had a lot more than that one did.
And then, I don't know, this trailer does a lot of weird things. And then they spend a long time talking about, like, there's a merchant, and he's this big fat guy. And they're like, he's so unique. We wanted to give him a lot of personality. Look how unique he is. Look at all the character designs on this guy. And it's like, it's just a big fat guy. Like, I don't, or maybe I'm fat phobic and I'm being like, distracted, but they're just like, the director wanted to give him a unique look, he'll do a bunch of different stuff, and I'm like, okay, all right.
I'd be more interested if it turned out it was the exact same merchant in Resident Evil 4 but he just got really depressed after Resident Evil 4 and just
after Leon wasn't there anymore, he went and pawned all those antique clocks and like a necklace, and he just started buying sausage farms,
a whole bunch of sweets, that kind of thing.
So yeah, I mean, everything in here looks good. There's, they talk about how there's like a bunch of different bullshit. Like obviously there's going to be, fucking 40 stuffed goats for you to shoot over the course of the game. I mean, that's just Resident Evil 101. Like
that's neat.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, and then also there'll be puzzles in Resident Evil, and it's like, good, thank you. I'm glad that this was, you didn't just decide to make this into Call of Duty.
It's all just Candy Crush puzzles the whole time.
That's weird to me, though, Michael, is you know how like you keep seeing in the trailer the ladies that are like a big swarm of insects that are hunting down Ethan. Like that was like what the mom was, right? In RE7 was she had the whole bug thing. She was all like covered in bugs and
big
stuff.
Old swarm of bugs.
So I wonder if that.
Pain.
Yeah, I wonder if that has something to do. I wonder if there's a connection there, or if they just got lazy and they were like, we figured out a way to make a lady into a bunch of bugs. You waifu that shit immediately. You make a bunch of waifus. I've played Genshin Impact. Put those bugs around a waifu. It doesn't matter how crazy she is, as long as she's got some cleavage. And then they announced the
crazy hot scale.
They announced the demo. Michael, there's a demo for this game called Maiden, which apparently you played about 5 minutes of, and it's like a walking simulator, visual novel kind of thing.
For the most part, like you're solving puzzles, but for the most part, it's still like a walking simulator.
Yeah, they said specifically in here that there's not going to be any combat in it. So yeah, there's that, and it's on the PS5 exclusively. We're going to play it at some point. It's going to be coming to the other consoles platforms at some point. Then they couldn't help themselves, Michael. They got there's this trailer. I want to show you this trailer, and I want you to tell me. I want your first impressions. Okay, you ready?
Hold on a second.
Okay,
and go.
All right. So let's see if hold on. I got to get past this. All right, here you go. All right. So this is RE-verse.
Wait, hold on a second. Well, I can't see the screen right now.
Oh no. Okay. Well, then I will interpret it for you. Oh man, this sucks so bad. Jeff, why are you showing this to me?
We're back.
Okay. So this is RE-verse, which appears to be some kind of online action game where you play as like all of the different Resident Evil characters, like Jack and Nemesis and Hunk and like Jill and Ethan and it looks like garbage, man.
What the fuck am I looking at?
It looks like total garbage. Like, I'm not even talking about like from a gameplay aspect. I'm just saying that the quality of like the renders of the game look horrible. Like, it looks like there's a shader missing, or like it's an alpha or something like that.
It might be both. It was me, like the way, the way you're looking at it, it makes them look more cartoony because of it.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
Yeah. I have no idea. The only thing is that it's like they were talking about like, oh, you'll get access to this when you buy Resident Evil 8. When you pre-order it, you'll get access to like our beta for this. And I'm just like, Capcom, how many people are still playing the Resident Evil 3 multiplayer mode that you put out in January of 2020? Nobody? Stop doing it. Stop trying to put multiplayer in this franchise.
It seems to be like a PvP that they really want to be a thing.
Well, and like in the trailer, there's literally parts of the trailer where there's like two Jacks fighting each other. There's like two, and when I say Jack, I mean like the guy from RE7 that like pops through the wall and he's hunting you as Ethan. And there's a lot of like fast rolling and there's like multiple Jacks, multiple Nemesises. It all seems to be in like the police department from 2, but it honestly looks like a PlayStation 3 game. Like, it does not look.
Oh no, it absolutely does.
Yeah, like when I saw it at first, I was like, "Is this a phone game?" But it might be a phone game, but. Honestly, like they would be closer to getting me to play a phone game if they just made one of those shitty gachapon, like RE Squad, and like, how far can you get? All right, log in for your daily reward. Try to get a Platinum Leon today because that's what you want to do. Then, like, I'm going to have to put a controller in my hands and move around the stick and look at these horrible, horrible graphics in order to play what appears to be a kind of crappy online third-person action game. Why?
Yeah, it's absolutely like a PvP thing, but it just doesn't look all that good.
It's got this weird cartoony cel-shaded thing that's just making it look like total trash. Just trash.
I like the name, though. RE-verse is a nice name, but...
Yeah.
It just doesn't look very good. But, it's still early access, whatever stuff they're working on. Who knows? Maybe down the line they'll make it fun? ?
I like the fact that in the middle of this like little splash screen they've made for RE-verse, Jack is there and he's just holding the shovel that he used to decapitate that cop, which was like the only time he used a shovel in the entirety of RE7 was to cut that poor cop's face in half. And it's like, remember Jack with his iconic weapon, shovel?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so we're almost done. This is the part I didn't like. So Resident Evil is in the Division 2, Michael. You know how Ubisoft, like a greedy bully, will just reach over to take the food off of plates of other video games and then give them money for it? There's like a Jill and a Chris and like a Leon skin for the Division 2 that you could get, and a Hunk skin, I guess. And it's like, that has nothing to do with the fucking Division. Like,
Cool? Question mark?
It's like when Assassin's Creed was in Final Fantasy 15. Like, why? I don't understand. Just make your own video game. Quit injecting your shit into other people's video games.
It just doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. Somebody's going to find that cool.
And then last but not least, so you know they're making that Resident Evil CGI movie for Netflix, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. Right. They had a thing where they basically just said, like, yeah, we're making this movie. Leon is wearing a suit. Michael, ask me, is there a trailer?
Is there?
No.
Really?
There's like 10 seconds worth of footage and a Netflix logo, and that's the end of the stream.
Is this the same movie with that weird gunfight, or is that a different movie?
No, that was way earlier. That was okay. I would love it if it was just like Resident Evil silly gunfights, and it was just that one gunfight, but way more for 90 minutes, and I would be like, I've never seen a greater movie.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look up, it's like a fight between Chris and some guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're into this gunfight that's absolutely ridiculous.
It's so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. They're literally like 1 foot away from each other, and they must shoot like 8,500 bullets apiece at the other guy, and none of them hit. Like,
Not
at
a
all.
single one.
There's only a part where they're just like running in tiny circles around each other, shooting at each other from like 18 inches away. Nobody hits anybody in that.
And it's all serious. Like, it's not a joke. It's all taken as seriously as possible.
Yep. So, Michael, we did it. We covered the Resident Evil 8 conference. Huzzah! I don't know. I'm still good for Resident Evil 8. I don't trust Capcom's a weird company. Like, believing in Capcom is like believing in the monkey's paw, where you're like, well, Resident Evil 8 looks really good, but how are you gonna fuck me? Is it 2 hours long and you expect me to play Resident Evil Reverse? Or like, what's the catch, Capcom? Come on, tell me the catch.
The catch is Reverse is probably part of it. I wouldn't be surprised, like it was with 3 and that multiplayer they have there.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I think that makes a nice change in the podcast where we don't spend the entire first 30 minutes talking about Cyberpunk 2077. So let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077.
God damn it.
So last week, Cyberpunk, there was a couple things that happened. Bryce mentioned when we were on the podcast last week, because we were bitching and complaining, that last week they put out that whole statement, and we're not going to stay here for too long because, my God, I'm even tired of listening to myself repeat Cyberpunk 2077 and how I don't really like it. But Jason Schreier put out this big Bloomberg article about Cyberpunk 2077, which I quickly copied and pasted off their website because I'm not about to pay for their paywall. So I've got a giant text document. But, you know, basically what this says, he interviewed a bunch of people. They did their interviews with, under the condition of anonymity, except for one person who's a former audio designer. And Michael, the picture that you get for this is that, like, the game wasn't, even when it was in development, it wasn't really started in development earnest until like mid 2018 or like okay, so here are some of the things from the article. One, a bunch of people have said that like the whole E3, what was it, 2018, that 45-minute demo that they put out,
the really fancy demo,
it was all bullshit. It was all just like, it wasn't the game running inside of the world. It was basically like a vertical slice built from the ground up, and that the systems that were in there were not even finalized to be in the game, which is why you see stuff like that whole drug thing that I mentioned that one time, right? Is that, and that sequence made it into the game because they made it be in the game, right? But like, that was like a very, this is according to this article in the unnamed sources, that this was a very much a like, we made this for E3. They also apparently were working on it at one point, and they brought in somebody else who basically kind of decided he wanted the game to go in a different direction and like clashed with some of the people that have been working on it. There was apparently a lot of like, hey, how are we going to get this done by, because it was supposed to launch, remember, in 2019.
Yeah.
How are we going to get this done by 2019? And people were like, don't worry, we're going to do it. It's going to happen. Apparently they were building, I didn't really realize this. And again, this is all according to unnamed sources. I know a lot of people get real touchy if you fucking talk about, last week we talked about crunch and somebody was just like whining about crunch. And I'm like, well, crunch is bad. Like I had friends that did that shit, but,
Crunch Bandicoot's kind of neat. I'm just saying.
Captain Crunch.
All the crunches.
Apparently, they were building the engine as they were building the game at the same time. Somebody.
Oh my god! Like every time you talk, I'm getting flashbacks to a bunch of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Duke Nukem Forever for one.
Yep.
Another being Gearbox's most famous of all things, which was Aliens Colonial Marines.
Anthem?
Somebody was like, hey, they made a fake trailer. Why don't we do the exact same thing? It worked out so great for those guys.
Yes. Well, one of the things is, I mean, apparently I was listening to a Triple Click podcast where Jason Schreier's on there, and he was saying that that a lot of times a vertical slice like that demo will actually end up being very useful in game development because it kind of gives, even though it's fake, it gives everybody basically a snapshot of like, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we're working towards, right? So you look at this vertical slice and say, okay, it's going to be a first-person shooter. It's going to have RPG elements. The characters are going to have, like, they're going to be level-based, so you're going to have higher level characters, lower level characters. There's going to be like a drug system. There's going to be a regenerating health system. So there'll be things by mocking up. It's like concept art, right? Where like if you do it, or like an animatic, where it's not the final product, but looking at even a small semi-finished section can give you a good idea of where you're going. What it really sounds like is that the whole thing was just mismanaged. Like that seems to be the big thing that goes through all of these different things, is that it was very mismanaged. Like, it sounds like they did a Mass Effect Andromeda or an Anthem where they basically kind of shifted directions a couple times. And then the real question is just, I think that they had built this whole hype cycle with that trailer, with the release date, with pushing it back. I mean, is there anybody out there in the audience who doesn't think that this game could have used another year of development, right? Like, it should have been pushed back to the end of 2021. It should not have come out at the end of 2020. It should have taken another year. Even if that year was nothing but polish, wouldn't you rather have, like, the most polished game of all time than playing essentially like an early access build of Cyberpunk 2077? I would, but that's just me.
No, absolutely. Like, I'm not going to say, that fake trailers and all that stuff and fake demos and gaming is, always a bad thing. It's just that, yeah, sometimes it's where they're at that moment. Like Watch Dogs 1, I know that one gets shit on a lot because of that, because they had a slice kind of demo of a certain area where all the settings and stuff were jacked up as like almost as high as you could possibly get it at that point. Like, I remember people were able to find that piece within the actual game, and it still looked the way it looked there. It's just they couldn't get it to look like that in the entire game with what they had on the platform.
Well, the thing with Watch Dogs, if I remember correctly, was that they eventually found places in the INI files for Watch Dog on the PC that if you just like change some numbers, it basically unlocked the full resolution and frame rate and everything. And that the thoughts, I don't think this has ever been actually fully corroborated, but the thoughts at the time was that it had been essentially nerfed to make sure that the PC version didn't look like 8 times as good as the console version did.
Well, the thing is, I remember that when they turned on some of the settings, they found that the E3 area was the only one that looked like an E3.
Oh, okay.
They only focused on that one section to make it look exactly like that.
Okay. In any case, I mean, it's interesting. I was talking to Bryce last week, and again, like I said, I'm not going to like totally and completely repeat myself, but like, I find it really interesting because I feel like what happened here with Cyberpunk has happened before. That we've been sold a line of horse shit. We've got an incomplete game that's fucked up and buggy or not as fun or doesn't do what the E3 trailers showed us, and that people are like, such is life. Like, it's just c'est la vie.
It kind of is, though. It's just that, like, people are more self-conscious about it now than they used to be.
Yeah.
Because of the internet. Because before, it would happen, and then maybe a game magazine would bring it up, and then people would just forget. But this is like the internet. Everybody has instant reactions to everything, and I think that's really what causes a lot of these backlashes. Is backlashes. Yes, backlashes to be like twice as hard as they've ever been, and it's just getting more
Michael,
prevalent with Twitch streams and stuff like that. With people are constantly trying to find new content, it makes it that much easier to stir up outrage.
It's very true. It's very true. One of the other things that was in this article was that apparently the team for The Witcher 3 was like 250 people or something, and then they staffed up to like 500 people, and then they started bringing in contractors from Western Europe and America. And it's really interesting because one of the things in this article basically says that like there was a corporate mandate that in all emails and in like meetings you had to speak English because CD Projekt Red is a Polish company and they developed internally. I'm sure that they all spoke Polish all the time, and they had to start bringing in like contractors who didn't necessarily speak Polish, and so suddenly there's actually also a language barrier on top of the rest of that.
Everything was going fine until they hired that very tall lady and her daughters.
That's right. And then let's see. But see, what's interesting here is that then I think this is a bad look, Michael. I don't know. Some people might like this, but apparently Adam Badowski, who is one of the studio heads, like wrote a fucking he put up one of these like twit longer pictures of like, here's my response to your article, like telling you why everything you said was like wrong. Like one of them, he talks about like it's one of these things where they have like the claim and then his response to it. One of them is like, most of the staff knew and openly said it wouldn't be ready for release till 2020. So you've talked with 20 people, some being ex-employees, only one of whom is not anonymous. I wouldn't call that most of the over 500 person staff openly said what you claim. And then there's like the English thing, and he said like, yeah, people who live in this country and they're going to speak their native language, and the whole thing is just like I feel like people in the Twitter response in the mentions and stuff have the right idea, where there are a few people who are just like, dude, this is not the way you win. This is you just stop fucking being on Twitter, you fix the game. Like that's how you win this argument, is not like some journalist posted a bunch of stuff and you're like, nuh-uh. Well, if you think about it, actually the word hit has multiple meanings. Like
the real Cyberpunk was the friends we made along the way.
Exactly. Yeah. So I look, whether any of this is true or not, Michael, something went desperately wrong in the development of Cyberpunk 2077, right?
Oh, 100%.
And all I give a shit about is if it gets fixed. Like, I don't care I care because it's a podcast and I'm curious, right? But at the end of the day, what really matters to me is if by the end of the summer, if this is a different, great, polished game that is the game that I thought it was going to be and not the game that I ended up getting. Like, that's all I give a shit about. I could care less what language the people at the fucking development staff are speaking. I don't give a shit about your the reasons why things are reasons. Like the whole, oh, you only talk to 20 people, but we've got 500 people on staff. And it's like, well, yeah, but this is the video game industry. Nobody's going to talk to you on the record, and because they know that you will fire them. You will fire anybody who puts their name behind like a bad word, or like, let's say somebody had like a recording of a meeting where this shit was said out loud. They'd never work in the video game industry again if they put their name on that and put it out.
100%. Like they're it's a tightly knit group. A lot of these places, like a lot of developers know each other, and if they know one person badmouth the other one, why should they hire them? There's 20 people outside the door who want to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I don't know. I recommend everybody else go totally pay for that Bloomberg article and read it. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people don't like Jason Schreier. A lot of people I feel like I've seen, I don't know if it's the same person, but I just keep feeling like I see the occasional comment that comes in whenever I talk about the stuff on the podcast with just like, I don't want you to say bad things about Cyberpunk. Like, no matter how you feel about the gameplay, which I've made explicitly clear, I don't even think that the PC version looks especially mind-blowing for the amount of, blood, sweat, and tears that went into that game. Like, I mean, I don't know, Michael. Am I crazy? Like, if you put that thing on a 3090 and jack all the settings all the way up, does it look like the future of video games, or does it just look like a really, really good, like a PS5 game, but like a really good one, or like, Skyrim with some mods on it, or I don't know. I mean, it's got ray trace lighting, and that's great, and I'm excited. And I like ray trace lighting, but like, ray trace lighting doesn't make a game better. It just makes it look better.
That's really what it comes down to, is that gamers we just want a good games. Like we've never really cared how that gets to that point, which is the reason crunch is such an issue.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it still comes down to, was this good? Was this game good? And I think that's what makes this whole situation kind of stupid. Is really it comes down to the fact that all these people went through a lot of crunch, a lot of insane shit, and this is what they came out with.
I just saw somebody that put Bernie Sanders from the inauguration in the subway with V meme in this Twitter thing. Yeah, I agree with you. And again, I don't care about any of this. I think it's interesting to maybe know why it failed, but I don't want the developers arguing with people on Twitter. I'd rather have them trying to fix their fucking game rather than getting a Twitter beef with somebody over something. I mean,
developers just hate Jason Schreier because he's one of the few people that likes to like poke them, kind of thing. Because he doesn't really care about like early access to things. He's like, I think this is kind of fucked up that I found out about.
Wasn't there a thing last week, Michael, where they said they sold 17 million copies of Cyberpunk? Like,
they sold a shit ton of them.
So 17.
It like shattered every record they had.
17 million times $60 a copy is that's not. No, I just did that in my calculator. It's $1 billion. That's not true, right?
I have no idea.
Oh no,
it still made a lot of money.
That was the wrong. I think I put too many zeros in there. 17. That's 17 million, right? You're looking at my calculator.
I can't see it past my video.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, so that's 17 million, right?
Yeah, that's 17
million.
That's
a 60 times 17 million, and what I got back was, it's a shitload of money. It's a shitload of
a lot of money.
I don't feel like, I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, if you sold 17 million copies of your game, shut the fuck up and fix your game. Shut the fuck up and fix your fucking game. Like, you made enough money to keep your studio open for 10 years without even putting out another game. Fix Cyberpunk 2077. Do it. Anyway, we're not done yet because apparently this is the Cyberpunk 2077 Memorial Podcast now. CD Projekt Red has been hit with a second class action lawsuit. This one is kind of as vague as the first one. This one is coming from, I believe, from investors as well. It was filed in the U.S. District Court of the Central District of California. And basically, I didn't read all the way through this, but the top line is like, again, that investors are mad at I think it's for a slightly different reason, but it's like, video games are such a huge business that it's like when you told me that your company was going to be massively profitable and you were hiding that the product was shit the entire time, and then you put it out, I can sue you saying you can't portray the quality of something one way and then just have it flip-flop the other way. I don't know. This is very late. I'm very tired. But yeah, I don't know if this one's going to get anywhere. I'm just going to say that I'm fascinated by the fact that like there's a game out there where the hype was so high and the delivered product was so not high that there's literally lawsuits over like, your shitty game lost me money and where's my fucking money, Lebowski?
That's the main reason I'm fascinated by that, because unlike the Fallout 76 lawsuits, those are all consumers,
right, going
after the company. This is the actual people who put money into that company telling them, hey, you fucked me over. Yeah, exactly. What you mentioned with the Lebowski thing.
I don't know.
Hit them where it hurts. Their dick.
I'm not expecting you to listen to previous podcasts, but like last week we had a story and I was just so fascinated. There's like a Polish consumer affairs division that is now monitoring the CD Projekt Red's like endeavors to fix Cyberpunk as a like consumer advocacy group, and they have the ability, if they decide that CD Projekt Red isn't moving forward in good faith, to fine them up to 10% of their operating income at the end of the year. And it's just like,
That's amazing.
wow. I mean, where was this? If we'd done this 10 years ago, we wouldn't be in this situation. Fucking take all the money that Bobby Kodak's ever made and, burn it. So from there, we have one last Cyberpunk 2077 story, and it is I hate this story so much. So in there's a New Zealand publication called TVNZ.com that did an interview with Gabe Newell where they asked him about his feelings about Cyberpunk 2077, and he says he has a lot of sympathy for them. He said that people shouldn't throw stones at CD Projekt Red because what the studio achieved was, quote unquote, pretty amazing. What exactly is amazing, Michael, about like making a third-person driving or first-person shooting and driving game, and like it's got neon?
People liked it more than a card game, so that's probably what it was.
So here's some quotes. I have a lot of sympathy with the situation that every game developer finds themselves in. All I know is that there are a lot of us very happy gamers in the PC space, which are the ones that are most visible to us. Fuck you, Gabe Newell. Fuck you for your fucking PC shill bullshit. Like, all I know is that the PC version seems like it works out pretty well. Zoop, zoop, zoop. There are aspects of the game that are just brilliant, and it shows a tremendous amount of work. It's unfair to throw stones at any other developer because just getting something as complex and ambitious as that out the door is pretty amazing. I don't know, man. Some of this stuff just makes me want to. I can't stand Gabe Newell's attitude about the PC and Steam and all this horseshit. Steam sucks. It is an ass-sucking app. It is the worst app I've used since the fucking Apple iTunes Music Store. It is hard to find anything. Every time a sale takes over that store, you can't find whatever new game came out because they're trying to give you The Witcher 3 for $10. Anyway.
I'm sure Gabe Newell is crying in his money right now from those remarks.
Yeah. Gabe Newell's like crushed that I don't like him. Everybody knows, here's another quote, everybody knows that if you're in this business, expectations are high, and if you do it well, people are going to let you know, and if you fail to meet those expectations, they're going to let you know. That's part of why it's a fun industry. Yeah.
Honestly, that's actually kind of true when it comes to gaming, is that like if you're going to be in a game development, you better be ready for that sort of idea.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like I think it's one of the few industries where every bit of criticism will be as loud as possible, no matter what. Because even movies, like even that kind of criticism isn't nearly as strong. It's strong depending on what it is, like a Star Wars or something. But if it's just like any normal like movie, then the criticism is fairly normal. But when a game sucks, they're gonna fucking tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. It was funny because I was actually when I was listening to that Triple Click, I want to attribute it to that Triple Click podcast this week. Like they brought up this point that I never really thought about it in this way before. How like video games are like one of the only products that you can think of where like they will show you what the product is, but then what they give you can be totally different from that, right? Like if you watch a trailer for a movie, that's a person who's been filmed, right? And like scenes may get cut out, but like fucking Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie. He's a lawyer, right? That's what's going on. But video games. Like they brought up the excellent point of like, remember that E3 trailer for BioShock Infinite that was just a lie? Like the
100%.
The whole thing wasn't even in the game. Like that was just not the game that we got at the end of the day. And it was like, what other industry could somebody show you something and be like, this, you want this, right? And you're like, yes, I want that. And then they just give you like a whole other thing where you're like, what?
Yeah. 100%. Like I bring up Duke Nukem Forever, and that game went through like 4 or 5 different renditions, kind of thing, is what it felt like before we ended up getting what we eventually got, and it looks nothing like what they first showed. Like, period.
I would even say like I'm not crapping on it, right? But remember how the marketing for Brutal Legend made it seem like a third-person action game, and then suddenly after playing it for 4 hours, you were like, "Is this a real-time strategy?"
Oh yeah,
game.
like that came out of nowhere. Although they did eventually tell you that was going to be a thing before they released it, but it came out of nowhere. But like a lot of that stuff keeps happening in games, and because somebody gets an idea at the last minute, and then you just have to deal with it.
Yep. And then finally, I guess before we're going to take a quick break here, we still got a shitload of news. I'm sorry. I have to learn how to pare this shit down more. There was also an interview that was done with Gabe Newell. It was a different interview that basically talked about, this was for One News, to talk about what they're doing. And basically, here's what it is. Him and the people at Valve got really excited about Alex, and they really liked the reception that Half-Life Alyx got last year. And so apparently, there are a number of different just like projects in development at Valve as games. Now, this may shock you, Michael, but I don't trust Valve anymore because the last 2 Valve games were Dota and what was the card one?
Artifact. I almost fell asleep when we did the video for that one.
Yeah.
And then the thing that happened with Twitch with that was probably my favorite thing that ever.
Oh, they just put porn. They just put porn on there.
Just put whatever the fuck they want under the Artifact thing,
because nobody was watching. Yeah. So, like, people are again. This just is like Half-Life 3, Portal 3, Left 4 Dead 3. And I'm just like, I will believe any of this when I see it. Like,
it's more Artifact 2.
Like, they said they're working on several games and they're hoping to have something to reveal pretty soon. I don't trust you, Valve. Like
Artifact VR, Artifact,
right?
Like
the Artifact MOBA.
Artifact MOBA.
The Artifact is a card game. That's how little of an impact Artifact made on you. You're like the Artifact card game, and I'm like, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. That's the thing. I didn't give a fuck. That game was so fucking boring.
Yep.
Oh my god.
It was a MOBA
Artifact
card
the
game.
Lunchbox.
Mm-hmm.
Artifact the flamethrower.
If you could have one title from Valve, what would you vote for?
I'd want more Portal because the writing for Portal is just so much fun.
I used to say that. I'm not prepared to believe that they would do it right. I'm prepared to believe that they wouldn't get the same writers or that it would end up. But you know what? I don't know, because Alex apparently was really, really good. Like, I haven't played it, but it was on a lot of people's Game of the Year list. Apparently, it's one of the best VR games that's ever been released. I mean, I know it was made by a third-party company, but like they were kind of under the direction of Valve. So I don't know. Maybe. And I guess they made that HTC Vive, like the thing where the P-body comes apart. You've got to like put the pieces back together.
Right. That wasn't a thing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't really care that much about Half-Life, and it's been so long that I don't even remember what happened in them, to be honest. And then with Left 4 Dead, that studio literally went to make their own Left 4 Dead,
right? Again
with Back from the Dead. So it's like
Back for Blood. Is it Blood?
Is that what it is? I don't even remember the name of it, but they're making one. So it's not like we're not getting more Left 4 Dead, but we're not getting any more Portal. So give me some more Portal, and I'm cool with it.
And, you know, we don't get that many. We don't get enough comedy video games. I like a comedy video game. I like a game that makes me laugh, and we just don't get as many of them.
No, and when we do, they're not always great. As was a video that we tried to record not that long ago that did not go anywhere.
Oh yeah, I remember that. The end of Tactics Week. That's all right. We played Hades for an hour instead, and somebody in the comment section said that me constantly talking about it convinced them to finally buy it. I count that as a win. I've done my good deed for mankind. I got one person into Hades. So
an absolute win.
Yeah.
Did we even mention what game it was when we were playing Hades? I don't even remember. I don't even remember the name of it.
It had such a convoluted fucking name. I don't even know. It was like the Citadel of Nervlol.
It had Felicia Day in it. You guys find it, I guess, from there.
I didn't think it was very funny.
It wasn't funny at all.
I don't think it was very funny. But I got a funny joke for you. It's called "It's Time to Take a Break." So,
what's
take
the
that.
punchline?
No, that was the punchline. The break is the punchline. That was the setup. We're back, and it's time for more news. It's time for a lot more news. We're gonna see. Maybe we can get through all this news. We'll see.
We can plow through it.
Let's see what we can do with this news. So we left off. We were talking about Gabe Newell, and we were talking about Valve. This was actually really interesting. This came up last week. All right, the European Union. Michael, you know of them, the bunch of countries?
Yeah.
Okay. So, part of the way that the European Union works is that they have like kind of free trade agreements. I mean, I'm grossly oversimplifying, but like you're supposed to be able to like take your shit from Germany and drive it to France and sell it there, right? And like you just can go back and forth and do stuff. Well, one of the things that this means that you should be able to do in Europe is like, let's say you have a VPN and you live in, Spain, and it turns out that like a game is cheaper in Italy than it is in Spain, you should be able to VPN into Italy and buy the game at a cheaper price. Now, we actually covered a story a while back about how Steam is not cool with this. They want you to pay the price that the game is in your country. Well, it turns out that technically violates the European Union's like free trade agreement because the video game is a product, and if it's for sale in Italy at a cheaper price, you shouldn't be like forced to buy it in your own country because it's technically supposed to be like kind of one big free trade zone. Apparently, there was an antitrust suit that was brought up against Bandai Namco, Capcom, Focus Home Entertainment, Koch Media, ZeniMax, and Valve. And all of those companies were like, okay, if it's, you can buy it wherever you want to, except for Valve, who was like, no, we refuse. And they were fined 1.6 million euros for their trouble. But, this is kind of one of those things where like, I'm sure that Valve would rather have their 1.6 euros than not have their 1.6 euros, but they just decided to pay the fine. Again, this is another one of those things where it's like, fucking follow the law of video game. I know that here in the United States, video game companies basically have unlimited power. They could do whatever, and they could fuck us all, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like there's like a consumer protection agency or anything that gives two shits about like, when video game companies rip you off and do bad stuff. But, other countries, it's like, the way that EA is just like, no Portugal or no Denmark, we're going to have loot boxes in FIFA and you could blow me. We're just going to like take this case all the way to the king. Is it like I
have no idea.
Is it like a duke of Europe that you have to take your court case to? I don't
You have to do trial by combat every time.
Oh God. Rudy Giuliani is there. No, bad. So yeah, I thought this was really interesting because I think that there should be, I think that like when we talk about Cyberpunk 2077, we talk about, the idea that suddenly a company is actually being held accountable for creating like a poor product. It's interesting to me that we are so far down the rabbit hole that like what's happening with CD Projekt Red is like different and crazy and weird as opposed to, when other companies do this shit and nothing really happens to them. I don't know. I wish we could just return video games, Michael. That's what I want. I want to be able to return video games, and they have to give you back your money because this is America, and when a thing sucks, you get your fucking money back for it.
I miss the days where that was a lot easier.
Yeah. And I know
you got to buy a shrink wrap machine, shrink wrap it, and come back.
Man, I used to work for this place that had a shrink wrap machine, and I could tell you, you remember like back in the day when it used to be that somebody would buy like a hard drive from Walmart, they'd get it home, and it just had like a rock, like a loose rock and a bunch of empty ketchup packets inside of the box because some 17-year-old has access to a shrink wrap machine and like, go fuck yourself. That's my name.
Did I tell you when that happened to somebody when I worked at Sam's?
No.
So I worked at Sam's Club, and one of the managers' fiance's, her fiance bought her an iPad, and she was like for Christmas. She was really excited, and then she opened it, and it was a bunch of it wasn't even a bunch of magazines. It was a mirror with the Apple logo like drawn on the back of it. that somebody had like shrink wrapped back and then returned to the Sam's Club.
I kind of admire the chutzpah in that of just like, yeah, there you go, you vain fuck. Take some selfies now, why don't you?
It was kind of amazing.
Wow. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm in favor of this stuff. I know that, like sometimes this stuff gets into a weird position where like video game manufacturers are getting really fucked because they're not getting as much money because people are buying it in a different region. But I mean, I don't know, Michael, we're heading off into like personal philosophy territory, but like it can't. Do we really want to live in a world where everything is set up so that like the most money humanly possible? Like that's the only thing we care about is that you get the most money of all the money. I don't know. Again, this is wandering off into a weird space.
Yeah,
so.
that's going off into a conversation we probably are not handled to do.
Yeah, this is one of those off the mic screaming at each other for an hour conversations. So, well, speaking of screaming at people, the internet was screaming at IO Interactive because last week it came out that, okay, Hitman 3 is out on the PC, but it is an Epic Game Store timed exclusive. Hitman 1, I believe, was on the Epic Game Store and might have been free to get at one point, but Hitman 2 was not there. So Epic had said, don't worry, you're going to be able, like if you bought Hitman 2 on Steam, you're going to be able to bring your save data over to Hitman 3 on Epic Game Store. Last week we had a story where they were like, no, or like that's apparently not happening, at least early on. But there's now a new thing where they said they're basically they're working on it. It's going to happen at some point. And they heavily discounted the pass that you have to buy to get Hitman 2 as an add-in. Like if you buy Hitman 3, you don't have to like buy a $60 copy of Hitman 2.
Oh, okay.
You buy like a pass, and they were heavily discounting it for the first few weeks. But this is definitely, I'm not as down on the Epic Game Store as a lot of other people, but this is a problem because that progress determines like equipment unlocks, and like even if you're not playing the Hitman 2 levels, like you might have unlocked some better guns, some different tools, like some hacking keycard things, like a different, there's like stuff that you get from your progression status in Hitman that would be really
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you're used to playing Hitman 2, if you play the shit out of Hitman 2, you'll want those things in Hitman 3, and technically they should carry over because it's supposed to be like one big unified thing. But this actually leads into a larger problem, which is that at the launch of Hitman 3, it was a mess, Michael.
Oh, geez.
Because here's the thing. It's like I have I'm like level 400 something in Hitman. I mean, every time you beat a mission in Hitman, it adds more levels to your level, right? So I've played the shit out of Hitman since the first one, so I've got like a fuck ton of levels in Hitman. Got most everything unlocked. So when you install Hitman 3, you would think it would be like, oh, let me look at your Hitman 2 data, or let me look at your IO account, because you have to be. That's the thing, is that I love Hitman. I hate the fact that you have to be logged in order to use any of those unlocks. If you're not logged in, not only does it not track your progress and unlock new things, but it won't let you get access to any of your old things either. So you're basically just playing this very neutered version of the game if you're not logged in. And yesterday, when the game came out, the servers were fucked. Like everybody was hammering the servers, and so you couldn't log in. And not just that, but the way that you moved your progression from Hitman 2 to Hitman 3 was you had to literally go to a website that IO had set up, log in with like the account that has the thing, like your PlayStation account or your Xbox account or whatever, and then you had to go through this process of like choosing the data that you wanted to migrate and then choosing the platform that you wanted to migrate it to, because they, to their credit, this was set up like if you played Hitman 2 on the PlayStation 4, but you want to play Hitman 3 on, say, the Xbox Series X, right? You could do that. You could transfer from like one to another, I think. I don't. I'm not entirely sure. But in any case, like the kicker with this was that when you transferred that data over, it erases any progress that you make in Hitman 3. So, like, you log into Hitman 3, you haven't transferred your data over yet. You're starting out from square one, but you're like, hey, you know what? I'll just play Hitman 3 and unlock, and when the website comes back up, I'll do the transfer and everything will be fine. Except that when you do the transfer, it then erases all of the progress that you've made in the progression of Hitman 3. Yeah. Now, they got their shit together relatively quickly, and I think as of now, it's kind of a non-issue. But, like, you know, that's a bad experience to have when you've been waiting for a game and you're excited and you pre-ordered it, you want to play it day one, and because there's this online component that doesn't seem like it's really well thought out or makes a whole shitload of sense. Like, if you're in the middle of a mission, Michael, in Hitman 3, and let's say you've unlocked several different things that are going to unlock, you know, a new starting area or a new gun on that level, and let's just say that your internet goes offline, the game literally just stops no matter what you're doing and says, like, hey, you just went offline. Do you want to try to go back online? And you can hit retry, and if you go, great. If you don't go back online, you lose that progress that you've made.
That's crazy.
Which I think is terrible. It's one of the things I hate about Hitman is I don't like that system. I don't know why we can't just have... I don't know why it couldn't be a better system. Like, I get that having that progression is cool, but, you know... so, like I said, it seems that stuff is straightened out, and I will give IO credit for the fact that they were very much, like, on Twitter, replying to people, updating people. At one point, they were like, if you start the transfer of your save data and then the website errors out, don't worry, it's in the queue. It'll come through. It might take a little time, but it will come through. But it's just not a great experience to have on day one of a game launch.
No, yeah. Like, I definitely could see why that'd be a major issue, especially with something like, yeah, like you said, if you started on it and they're like, oh, I'll just come back to it when it's ready, and then lose all that you were doing earlier. That just seems a pain in the ass.
Now, the other side of that, right, is that being level 5 million or whatever, like, as soon as I actually got access and I had access to all of my toys that I've unlocked over the course of 2 fucking video games, I just literally plowed through all that progress that I made, like, in a heartbeat. And the thing about Hitman more than any other game is that you're supposed to play the levels over and over and over and over and over again. Like, that's kind of the joy, is playing them multiple times. So it's not quite as bad as it would be in, I don't know, like an RPG. Like if it was let's say that it was like Demon Souls, right? There was some kind of save data transfer for your New Game Plus, and then like you got up to level 4, and then like once the save game data came over, it reset you back to the beginning of the game. That would
okay.
Because the thing in Hitman 3, maybe also another thing that I should just say is in Hitman 3, if you want to just load up Hitman 3 and go to the last level and hit the start button, the game will let you do that. It will bring up a prompt saying like, you should play the other levels first, but if you just say fuck out of my face, like it'll let you watch the final cutscene of the game like right after you install it. You don't have to get there if you don't want to.
That's kind of insane, actually.
Yeah. Like, I think they know it. Well, I know it because the data transfer is weird in that all of the, like, I have all of my unlocks, but I don't have any of my progress for Hitman 1. And so whenever I try to play just like Sapienza, it's like, are you sure you don't want to do Paris first? And I'm like, no, I hate Paris. Just let me do Sapienza.
Paris is stupid.
Yep. Another Hitman 3 news. So this is really interesting. Hitman 3 is on Google Stadia. You remember when Google Stadia was announced and they had that thing where basically like somebody could basically, like, if you were streaming, they could essentially pull the state of your game and then just jump right into where that is. Apparently Hitman 3 will be doing that.
Cool.
Which actually seems like a really good game to do that, right? Like,
yeah. So I think it's a great idea for a game like that.
Yeah. I was often wondering, I haven't heard shit about it, even though I bought the fucking controller and I signed up for the service. I was thinking, Amazon launched their game streaming service and they have Twitch, right? They own Twitch. So I keep wondering to myself, like, couldn't you have a situation? This is just something I thought about a long time ago, and I've never heard whether it actually does this. But could you have a situation where I'm playing the game on my system, right, and I'm streaming to Twitch, and the server just splits the output, and like streams me like, you know, maybe a slightly lower resolution version to make the latency be low, but then streams like a full 4K stream to Twitch, because it shouldn't be dependent on my connection because it's coming off of the server. They could bypass the whole like stream to your PC and then OBS switches over to Twitch and just route the game directly to Twitch. I guess you would still need your audio at some point, but you could get around that. Anyway,
I'm sure you could.
Let's see. In other streaming news, we got some news this week that the NVIDIA Shield, which is the little box that you can use to stream stuff from your PC to your TV, now supports PS5 and Xbox Series X/S controllers. So you can sync one of those controllers to an NVIDIA Shield and totally play with that.
Nice. I don't know. I don't know what you want to say.
I was watching Michael trying to think of something that was interesting about that story, and there's not very much interesting about that story.
It's just the controller works now. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I've got a better story for you than the controller works. Actually, I got confused. This is a different story. It
looks like a better story.
We'll come back to that. So, speaking of hardware, we also got this news that a UK game retailer, Game, which as I understand is kind of like their GameStop, has introduced these measures to try to stop as much of the scalping as happening as with PlayStation 5s, because there was another whole PlayStation 5 rollout that happened last week. I didn't even look into it. I just assume it was a shit show at this point. But basically what they're doing is they're trying to track customer data, and then they're doing a thing where like the pre-order isn't actually a full pre-order where they take your money. It's like your reservation, but then they can do research on the data that you've provided them and like disqualify you if it turns out that you're part of one of these groups or you're known to be doing stuff. I don't really know how I feel about like the equivalent of a GameStop trying to do fucking data forensic work on my social media profile to decide whether I'm good enough to get a game console or not. Like, I don't know. It seems like the scalpers would just be smart enough to make fresh social media profiles like and use, I don't know, like a credit card. What is that?
Probably just not have the name with the social media like that.
Right.
I'm John Smith buying this console. Like, good luck finding me as John Smith.
Yeah. Well, you know, that leads into the bad side of the story, which is that apparently there was another group called Carnage that went on Twitter and was like, over 2,000 checkouts successfully logged for today's game restock of PS5. Just keeps getting easier every time. Devil smiley face. God, fuck these people so much. Fuck them so much, Michael. I hate this.
It's like the song, Jeff. Domination rules. Carnage rules.
Is that a
Get
song?
it? Never.
No. I don't.
It's the maximum. Never mind.
Are you making a Maximum Carnage reference at me right now?
I am making a maximum Carnage reference.
Are you reading like the whole Marvel thing right now? Is everybody's a symbiote apparently? Like
King in Black?
Yeah.
King in Black's real good so far.
Like Gwen Stacy is a symbiote and Mary Jane's a symbiote and everybody's a symbiote. Like fucking Rocket Raccoon's a symbiote. And
do you want me to explain the whole thing?
No,
I can right now.
No, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that.
We probably don't, to be honest.
You say it's good though.
No, it's really good. Yeah, the guy who's writing it is Donnie Cates. He's an Austin resident, if I remember correctly.
Go Donnie.
He's Donnie Cates, Donny. He's been writing for Venom for a little while now, and he's been setting this thing up for a while, and it's really good. Like he's probably one of the best Venom writers out there. He also did a really good Silver Surfer and a few other things besides that.
I have one question. I have one question about this. All I want is a very short answer. I know that getting you talking about Spider-Man, this could lead to disaster. Is Aunt May a symbiote? Does Aunt May have her own symbiote? Because that would get me to actually buy a comic book. If there was like a spinoff that was like Aunt May. What if she was anti-venom? A-U-N-T, anti-venom, A-U-N-T-I-E venom, and it's Aunt May, and she's got the white and black symbiote, and...
So I'm just going to say short answer as 616 Aunt May. As far as I know, she does not have one.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Because if there's a longer explanation for another Aunt May from another universe that I'm just not going to go into, so...
Marvel, Michael and I will write anti-venom for you. It's going to make $1 gajillion.
Jesus Christ.
It's going to make a lot of money. We'll use Marissa Tomei Aunt May instead of like old gray hair comic book Aunt May. And
Why not both?
Yeah. They got smashed together, and they're also
Make a
zombie.
Spider-Verse story that way.
Yeah, they got mooshed together like at the end of Time Cop, but the symbiotes kept them alive.
Oh, Jesus.
But they're also Marvel zombies. There you go. There's your pitch.
Done. Sold.
All right. So maybe you can't buy a PlayStation 5, but you can buy 900 pounds of PlayStations off of the internet if you want. This story is from Kotaku, and basically, here's the deal, Michael. There's a thing. The Goodwill will occasionally just like bulk sell things that have not sold from their stores.
Yeah.
And so there's a social media account called Goodwill Goblin that like tracks this stuff, and apparently okay, also I gotta say, this is referred to as Gaylord of various PlayStation consoles. Now apparently Gaylord, they aren't insulting the PlayStation. They're just, a Gaylord is apparently, I didn't know this, like a very strong cardboard box is referred to as a Gaylord.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing.
Now you can call your friends Gaylord, and it has nothing to do with homophobia. It has everything to do with them looking like a cardboard box.
You're a Gaylord of PlayStations.
I'm a cute Gaylord of PlayStations. And so there's these pictures online of just this gigantic box full of PS3s and PS2s. They're all dusty and shitty, and they've obviously come out of somebody's garage. And I don't know. I'm wondering if you bought this, if you would be able to get like one good PlayStation out of this entire thing.
Yeah, statistically speaking, one of those has to be good.
Yeah. There's also a second one, which is 600 pounds worth of controllers. And it's just...
Fuck me.
It's just 1 million controllers, and they're all like tangled up, and there's like, I see there's an N64 controller, there's a PlayStation controller, there's PS1 controller, some Xboxes in there. Is that like a Dreamcast or something?
No, that's
it's a third-party Xbox 360 controller.
No, I think that's what are they called? The
Google Stadia.
No, the whatever the Nintendo thing was for the Wii. One of those.
Oh.
Classic controller? Might be one of those classic controllers.
Maybe. I thought I had one. Mine was black, though, so I don't know.
I'm not too sure. Yeah.
Anyway.
It looks like one.
They're asking for a minimum bid of $800 for 900 pounds of PlayStation, and...
that's a steal if one of them works.
That's like $2 a pound of PlayStation. And for the controllers, they're asking for $650. It appears to be mostly like weight-based because they're on like... big pallets and shit. So.
See, the shipping is where it's going to fuck you.
Yeah,
is really the issue.
Mm-hmm.
987 pounds of anything from was this the UK or just Goodwill in general?
I don't know where this was.
Either way, 987 pounds of anything shipping wise is not going to be cheap.
What really makes me the most sad, Michael, is the way that these PlayStations have obviously been thrown into this box. Like, they are not stacked.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I know that a lot of them have curved tops or whatever, but there's just like somebody like emptied these motherfuckers in here, and it's like, come on, guys. So, in any case, maybe you don't have enough money to buy a 900-pound box of PlayStations, but you might have enough money to buy an RTX 3080 shoe computer.
What the fuck?
This is a thing that came up last week. I thought these were real shoes. I thought I brought this up as an article to mostly be like, why the fuck are you guys wasting these NVIDIA cards on shoes? But it's not that. What it is this is a collaboration between hardware maker NZXT and virtual sneaker designer Artifact Studios. And they made a PC that is inside of it. It's basically a micro PC with a 3080 card inside of a shoe. And Michael, you can actually see here that like if you look at the side of the shoe, it's like you can see the inside of the computer is in there. There's like no room for a foot or anything.
That's amazing.
And it's got
also randomly a Yu-Gi-Oh animation. And
yeah, it's got these little LEDs over like the outside and over the processor where the cooling is that they just put some Yu-Gi-Oh and some Dragon Ball on. This is redonkulous.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
But it also shows what random shit people will want to make computers out of.
Yeah, they've never stopped. They've never stopped putting computers and stuff. I don't care enough about shoes. That's my problem. As I bought those. What are those? Like super cheap. No, not Next. That's what these are called. I don't know. They're
I know what you're talking about.
horribly.
I don't remember what they're called.
Horribly cheap. Look like garbage. I don't really give a shit as long as they stay on my foot. So
That reminds me of there's this very rare Optimus Prime that is shaped to transform like a shoe.
okay, can you wear it?
And no, you can't wear it. It's just a shoe Optimus Prime. But it just reminds me of the fact that for some reason shoes are being turned into random shit for generations apparently.
Some people care a lot about shoes. Let's see. So maybe you can't afford a shoe that has an RTX 3000 card in it, but Newegg might have you covered. Apparently last week there was a whole thing. This is the state of the world that we live in, Michael. Okay, here's what it is. Newegg put up basically a bunch of bundles of various like AMD processors and motherboards and some video cards. But they were all like horrible bundles where you had to buy the thing you wanted and another thing on top of it. You couldn't just buy one part. You had to buy a bundle. Then they basically had people put their names in a hat and they basically randomly selected people, and the winners were able to buy these things. Their prize was they were able to buy a full price hardware bundle for scarce PC components. I just thought about it, Michael. I think they're going to try to make this. They're going to try to stretch this shit out, right? Like all the hardware sellers are going to keep trying to like make this a thing, and the scalpers are going to keep trying to make it. Like I'm trying to think of how we're going to get out of this, because
it's difficult. That's the thing. There's so many things with scalpers that make it so difficult to get away from them.
Yeah. I mean, this one sucks a lot, though, because I remember when I was trying to buy that Xbox Series X and Newegg had that, like, you could put it in your cart with the approved bundle, but they didn't say what the other part of the bundle was that you had to get. And so I spent an hour trying to put an Xbox in my cart and just with random things to be like, what do you want from me, Newegg? I don't like Newegg.
It was a journey. I love this comment though from this Reddit one that mentions the problem here is you aren't understanding the sense of pride and accomplishment that comes with winning the chance to pay a huge markup for a combo item you don't want.
Yeah, I like the other one where it says exactly what the GPU struggle needs: RNG loot boxes.
I love that because that pride and sense of accomplishment is to make fun of what happened with EA.
Oh yeah,
and then the Star Wars because that's what they said about the loot boxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
fucking Star Wars.
Yeah. Let's see. So from there, maybe you get yourself an RTX card. Maybe you're lucky enough to get an RTX card. This was an interesting story, and I brought it up originally to make fun of it, but then I read it, and I don't know. This might be kind of interesting. Okay, New York Times ran a story. And okay, I disagree with a large chunk of this story. It was basically let me give you the bottom line, Michael. Their whole thing was like, video games, kids are playing too many of them during the pandemic. And they had, let me see if I could find some of these fucking quotes. Like, it starts out with this thing where this grown man is like crying and he's like, I failed you as a father because you play so many video games. Like, this is the way that this feature starts. The day after New Year's, John Reichert of Boulder, Colorado, had a heated argument with his 14-year-old son, James. I failed you as a father, he told the boy despairingly. And basically what the whole thing that this is saying is like, during the lockdown, kids are it's a bunch of stories about parents who are just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I just let my kid play video games, and now they're just always playing video games all the fucking time. And this article very much lays out like an idea that I'm not opposed to, that like a 7-year-old who does nothing but play. I mean, I don't know how it was when you were 7, Michael, but when I was 7, if I finished my homework and fucking brushed my teeth, I got to play games for a couple hours before I went to bed. And then like on the weekend, I was left alone regardless. I mean, if I kept my grades up, my parents would leave me alone. They would let me rent a game and I would sit there and I would play a bunch of NES games, right? But that's not like what games are anymore. Like games are a little bit more, they've got their hooks are a little sharper than, oh, I rented Mylon's Secret Castle from the drugstore and oh, it sucks. So I played it for a little while and then I was like, this game sucks.
It's a lot different than because even from when I was growing up, things like there weren't really online games for a while.
Right.
Like I was still very much a Super Nintendo kid, and then an original PlayStation kid, and then when online finally started rearing its head, and I was a teenager by that point, and even then I didn't really start doing online gaming that much till I was like closer to 18 because it wasn't that prevalent still at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to think about, like, when you think about older games, like, I often think about the way that, like, a Super Nintendo game, it was like, okay, here, you rent Blaster Master, right? And you're trying to play Blaster Master, you start Blaster Master, you're making your progress, you're getting the power-ups, you're doing the bosses, whatever. You finally get to the end, you beat the last boss, boom, you beat Blaster Master, right? But, like, you don't ever beat Fortnite. You never complete Fortnite.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Like one of my favorite games growing up was Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. You can beat that game in half an hour.
Yeah.
Like it takes no time, and then you're done, and then you go do something else. Whereas, you can't complete Fortnite. You can't really complete PUBG. Like even the new Call of Duty Warzones kind of thing. A lot of those games don't actually have a completion when it comes to the online mode.
And then when you think about being in lockdown and like the number of kids who like, oh, well, they're keeping up with their friends, right, that they had when they were going to school, but what are they doing? They're playing Fortnite, they're playing Warzone, they're playing like Roblox or Minecraft or something. And so I could definitely see how it would maybe freak out a parent who, if their kid, because I remember what it was like to be a kid, and I can imagine a kid who gets access to one of these video games that never has an ending, and that it's literally designed to keep you playing for as long as, like, there's nothing in a game that will ever stop you, right? Like, a game will never be like, hey, buddy, you've played Hitman 3 enough. You got to go to bed, right? Like, fucking, we're forcibly logging you off of Hitman 3. You can't play anymore until tomorrow. Like, the games
Nintendo implemented some stuff that sort of tries, where if you play for, like, a few hours, I don't know if they still do this, but I remember for some of those games, it would be like, hey, you've been playing for like 3 hours. You want to just take a small break, and you can tell it to go fuck off and then keep playing for another 4 hours kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, there's nothing, like you said, there's nothing that's just going to, other than parental controls, that's going to stop somebody. And a lot of parents don't really know how to fuck around with those. So even if they did, their kid might just get past it.
Now, on the other hand, I fucking hate this article. I want to go down to the part where I hate, where like, they're talking about the same kid. The family dog died on New Year's Eve, and James said that playing games with his friends helped him to not think about the loss. This concerned his mother, Kathleen Reichert, who felt that her son was escaping the emotions of real life. Quote, "What are you going to do when you're married and stressed? Tell your wife that you need to play Xbox?" she said to her son during an interview. Well, yes. Yes, like adults who get really stressed out could be like, honey, I'm going to go play Warzone for a little while. I just need to fucking cool off. I need to like get this shit out of my head. Like,
also, he's like a teenager, so like he's just got to go through some shit that he doesn't want to deal with.
Yes.
So fuck you.
Yeah. So I think that this article actually makes an interesting point where you think about like, okay, when you talk about like kids and video games these days, there's like, before we were doing this, before we were in lockdown, kids literally had to like leave the house. They had to like walk away, go away from the Xbox and like go to school. And I don't want to come off like I'm some kind of fucking, you kids, you play too many Xbox games. But they had to go to school. But when you think about the fact that we've all been inside for a year, I can only imagine what it's like when your kid is going stir crazy and the only thing they really want to do is play video games. What are you going to tell them? No. What are they going to do? You're going to be like, I mean, normally this incredibly like cliche argument is like, turn off those video games and go outside and play. But you can't do that. Like, that's
the thing. Like, they're trapped. Like, the closest thing to that I had to deal with this, before pandemic was when I finally graduated from high school. I lived with my parents in Kyle, and I didn't have a car and I didn't have a license, and all my friends were like hours and hours away. And so the only way to talk to them was through playing Halo online. Like, I had to go through this entire fucking thing to get my Xbox to connect to the internet because we didn't have like a Wi-Fi thing for me to just connect to. I had to like connect my Xbox to my computer to connect to the internet. And it was hot as shit in my room, but it was the only way I could talk to people outside of, calling them kind of thing. But it was the closest I could get to hanging out with them outright.
Yeah.
And I feel for these kids because that's kind of the same situation they're in. They want to hang out with their friends, but they can't, like, because they might just outright die. That kind of thing. Like, that's really what the kids should be fighting back with. It's like, look, I just want to talk to my friends, and I can't just go out. Like, and I see here, like, in the article, they mentions, like, oh, he had so many options before. So, yeah, because I guarantee once everything opens back up, he's going to drop this and just want to hang out with them and talk about nothing for hours on end.
Well, see, one of the points that this article is actually making is talking about how, like, after a year, maybe a year and a half of doing this, that you might get, there's kids that are in certain levels of their own development where if this becomes the new normal, they aren't just going to, like, go back. This is the new normal, so they're just going to keep kind of moving forward in this mode. The thing, I guess, about this article is I originally brought it up to laugh at it and point and say, you fucking out of touch boomer assholes. But, like, the thing is that the article has a point. It's just that it sets up video games as such an evil siren corrupting our children. Like,
yeah, it makes it sound like it's making him, like, buy strippers.
Right. Right.
Kind of thing. It's like, no, he's just playing a little too much Fortnite, probably, or whatever it is that he's playing.
Or the idea
he just needs to go out.
Or the idea that if your kid's dog died and your kid is sad about it, that, like, if you don't want them to play fucking video games to just escape from that maybe you have to put in the work then to help them, like, have an alternate outlet. So I don't know.
It's weird. Like, I get what the kid's going through. Like, I was that shy kid who had gaming for most of his life, really, for him, kind of thing. And it bothered my parents too. I'm not gonna lie, my parents were very bothered about the fact that I played games consistently. But it was like, no one's hanging out with me. Like, what do you want me to go do? I suck at sports. I don't have anything else, kind of thing. And they're like there are kids like that. And this kid, he seemed he wasn't like that originally. It's just that he's forced because there's a lockdown.
Yeah.
And he's stuck. And when you're stuck, you get any avenue that you want. You can try to get.
Intrinsically, anytime any media anywhere is like, video games, they're the devil and they're destroying the youth. Like, the problem that I have is that narrative has been peddled to me my entire life. And, like,
it's been the argument since just fucking Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Like, kind of, like, even before games. Like, it's stupid. Like, I never understand when somebody's like, X is the devil, kind of thing. Like, I get it when it's something like meth or something, and people are fighting each other and stealing money for stuff. But games have a way of diminishing games pretty easily. You just have to be there. It's really what it comes down to.
Yep. Well, maybe one of the games that this kid is playing is Rust. I just had to say to everybody, like, is this the Among Us of this year? Is Rust? Everybody's fucking playing Rust, apparently. Like,
that is weird.
The game hit 244,000 concurrent users on Steam on just Saturday, January 16th. Apparently, like, this has become the new thing. Like, there was a bunch of Twitch streamers that started playing Rust again, because Rust apparently went into version 1.0 of Rust came out at the beginning of 2018. But, like, right now, apparently, Rust is the new hotness.
Yeah, that's crazy because, I remember when Rust came out, like, a lot of people played it for a little bit, and then they went back to another, because there's a lot of games like this nowadays. But that's why I find it interesting that Rust all of a sudden is now great. Or not great, but a lot of people love it now, so that's weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. Weird. Very strange. Let's see. In other popular online news, there was an article out there last week. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, talking about why it's taking so long for Among Us to do any updates. And this is pretty pedestrian. They're like, well, we had a 4-person company, and, like, we just hired on a 5th person to take over social media, and we're trying to hire on more people to help us do this dev work faster. because before Among Us blew up, there were 4 of us and nobody played our game, and now suddenly everybody's like, when's the fucking new map coming out? We're just like, I don't know, ask the other 3 guys. I was just making the audio for it. It's done, you know.
That's the thing. Yeah, they finished this game years ago. Nobody played it, so they're like, well, we don't need to make anything else. Like we don't need to update anything.
They were working on a sequel.
Everybody loved it.
They were working on a sequel. They canceled the sequel to go back and do more work on the first game. But yeah, I think that basically, like, anybody who's ever really been like deep into business before, anybody who's like super into business, like, you know that just putting more people into a team, especially if you're looking to you want to do it smart. You want to develop like systems to do this instead of just being like, I don't know, we need more help. Hire a fucking artist off of Fiverr or something. You know, you want to like point in a direction and organize things so that you're not creating like problems that will then follow you on as your development goes on.
No, 100%.
So, let's see. This is a crazy fucking story. Did you read this story, Michael?
I actually did read this story even before that you sent this to me.
Yeah. So apparently there was a Mortal Kombat pro tournament January 16th, and there was a guy, Titanium Tigers, who was playing with Shiva and had his Shiva custom loadout, and it was called Why Did NRS Do This? Now, for anybody who doesn't know, NRS is NetherRealm Studios, and this was apparently there's been some issues with Shiva's like jump attack that is unblockable, being incredibly OP and making her easy to play the game with. Apparently during the match, while this person was in their match, like the stream cut away from them, the hosts were like, hold on, we got some stuff going on here. We'll hold on for just a second. We'll be back in just a minute. They cut out in the middle of the stream, and apparently like somebody at Warner Brothers or NetherRealm like was watching this stream and directly contacted them and was like, yeah, fuck that guy, because he was disqualified, and like the other person he was fighting moved up in the rank, and apparently later on it became like, yeah, this edict came directly from the maker of the game, because apparently this line of text was offensive enough for them to boot someone, basically.
Like, it's crazy to me because, one, it was in the middle of them fighting in the game. Like, they were literally in the middle of the match.
Yeah.
And two, they gave them no chances whatsoever.
Yeah.
To, like, even just change the name. Like it was crazy. Like, yeah, the announcer's just like, we got it. Like, in fact, they said, we got a situation. And they're like, I'm not really sure what I could say, like, in this instance. And then they had to tell the guy, like, outside of it, like, yeah, this is why it happened.
I mean, him and the other guy were
bummed. Yeah,
they were having the match the entire time. They didn't know anything was happening, and then it was like after it was over, they just had told them. Yeah, this is crazy. And I say, I love me some Mortal Kombat, but like, I don't know who made that decision. That was a bad fucking decision. Boo on that decision.
It was a super bad decision. I mean, now it looks like you did that because you did something wrong, even though like the actual explanation is really dumb. Yeah, it's just a small joke.
Yeah, I mean, you could just say like, "Hey man, you got to change that." Like, it wouldn't have been a thing if you just said, "Hey man, you got to change that," and then the next round, like, you know, it was changed. In the end,
exactly.
No story. This is like that fucking Smash Brothers emulation bullshit where some companies getting real bent out of shape for what shouldn't really be a big thing. Let's see. In other online news, okay. Okay, Michael, I don't know if you read this story, but like...
No, I did not.
The headline on Kotaku for this is, Auto Chess is getting a MOBA, continuing the eternal cycle. So, how much do you know about Auto Chess, Michael?
I don't know anything about auto chess, to be honest.
All right, let's go down. Let's do the story. All right, Warcraft 3, Defense of the Ancients, right? Which was technically a generation after a Brood War mod that was then changed to Defense of the Ancients. Made MOBAs, right? Created MOBAs. Boom. Valve decides they want to get in on the action. They create Dota 2. All right. Valve, big company, they're doing their things. A mod group mods Dota 2 to create a mod called Auto Chess. Now, Auto Chess is like a thing where a bunch of people, it's like a big board, and every round you have like a little chessboard where you're trying to buy MOBA guys, and then they auto battle, and then if you win, you move on to the next realm, and then it finally gets into PvP at the very end. That's what Auto Chess is. So, Auto Chess comes out, and everybody fucking loves Auto Chess. So then... everybody starts making their own version of Auto Chess. So Riot Games makes Teamfight Tactics. Valve developed Dota Underlords, which was Auto Chess, but in the Dota universe. And then Blizzard even put a auto battler thing in Hearthstone. So the people who made the mod spun the mod out and changed all the character models. So they were no longer Dota characters. They were original characters. And they had Auto Chess as a standalone product. And now this week, they announced that they are taking the characters from Auto Chess and making a MOBA out of it. So,
what the fuck?
Yeah, this is kind of amazing, right? So
oh my god,
yeah, like the thing that was a mod of a MOBA, and then the MOBA maker made a version of that, and then the mod maker is making Michael, in 5 years every game is going to be either like a MOBA or a version of, or a mod for a MOBA. Like, I didn't even think people still really played MOBAs that much, but
I didn't either, to be honest. There was a giant gap. A lot of people don't remember this, but there was a giant gap where everybody was making a MOBA.
Yep.
Like, there was a DC MOBA at one point that I remember, like, I installed and I tried to run it, but it didn't work at all.
Michael,
they shut that down too.
There was a Dead Island MOBA.
There was a Dead Island one too?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, that's bananas. Let's see. We're going to skip a few of these because we're getting long in the tooth. Okay, this is an interesting one. Apparently, Immortals Phoenix Rising, the only good game that Ubisoft has made in a long time, at me, I dare you, is having a crossover event with that Netflix show Blood of Zeus, thus proving my point from the beginning that Ubisoft will get themselves into anything, whether they get other stuff into their games or their games into other stuff. But apparently there's a whole, their limited time, this has to be some kind of brand deal, that from the 21st of January to the 28th of January, there's a Blood of Zeus themed quest that gives you some cosmetic items and some equipment and some theme stuff. There's some theme skins that you can buy. You watched Blood of Zeus, right?
I did.
Does this in any way, shape, or form excite you? I mean, I guess you didn't play Immortals.
It's just neat, I guess. Like whatever, depending on what's in it, I think would be kind of somewhat exciting, I guess. I don't know. There's some cool stuff within that series, but overall, depending on what it is, really depends on if it's really all that interesting to begin with.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was just fascinating that it was like, wait, who did what now?
That is really strange, but it makes some sense. But I kind of wish it would have, mashed up a little bit with, Hades or something, because that would have been kind of neat.
Oh yeah, that would have been. I feel like the art style would have worked better, right?
I think the art style definitely would have worked better.
All right, another online news. We've got some trailers. I'm not going to make anybody go over this in any detail, but they put out a couple of trailers for it's season 8 of Apex Legends, which is called Mayhem. There's a new character called, I think it's Fuse. I sent you these trailers. There's one that's like a motion comic that's basically about this, basically the Fuse character, him and his childhood friend, they found this golden grenade, and then it just goes over their whole lifetime of their career where they keep taking it from each other. Like they're arguing over who gets to keep it. And they keep taking it from each other. And then at the very end, the lady is so frustrated that she pulls the pin on it and blows off Fuse's arm, which is why it's a cyborg arm.
That's so weird.
Yeah. And then in the second one is an actual full motion trailer where Fuse shows up in the world of Apex in this gigantic ship, and then the ship gets hacked, I think, by the same lady, who then just starts blowing everything up, and then eventually he has to blow up the ship and crash it, and it's just kind of like, yeah, boy howdy. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not going to play Apex Legends, but I still enjoy watching these little things because they keep putting like money into making these weird stories, and I'm like, I'll watch a 4-minute animation. I'm not going to play your fucking battle royale game. But
I am glad that that Apex Legends didn't die. Like, there was a time where we all thought it was going to die, and that was really early on. That was like towards the end of season 1. We were pretty sure it was just going to die. But they made it to season 8. That's very impressive.
Yep. I haven't really even been keeping up with what the fuck has been going on, but
same. I didn't even know they were up to fucking 8 seasons.
Yeah.
The last one I remember was like 2 or 3, and that was ages ago.
Remember when they had that reveal? Like, were you on the podcast when they had that reveal where the reveal was supposed to be like one guy, and then in a trailer, that guy got murdered by the actual character that was going to be? There was like a whole thing where they were leaking that it was going to be one character, and then they put out a video where at the very end of the video, the character that was supposed to be the DLC character got murdered by the character that was actually the DLC character.
I don't seem to remember that.
It was very strange,
but it's been ages ago, probably.
It was real weird. That was like the 3rd season or something like that. Did you get a chance to watch this, the Dreadnought Diaries, Project Mara Ninja Theory thing?
I did not.
Okay. So, do you remember the trailer for Project Mara, where it was like
vaguely
lady's face, and it was like there's a weird kind of monster face to one side. It kind of had some strange Hellblade vibes to it.
Yeah.
So this is fascinating, and anybody who is interested in games in general should watch this, because this game is going to take place in one apartment, but it's an actual apartment that exists, and they are they go over the details. Like, they got this professional company to come in and do like a really deep scan of the entire apartment, and they're doing this tech where, like, the closer you zoom into a texture, the more detail it shows you about that. So, like, they talk about, see if I can find, I think this is the one. Is basically like, this is really interesting, and I meant maybe hard for you to see, Michael, but like, as they zoom into these textures, which are just like a wall, right, or like a piece of stone or whatever, they're simulating what it would look like if you actually put your face like super close to like a piece of fabric, right, that from a distance,
that's really cool.
It looks like, just like a gray, but as you get close, you can see like the individual stitching. And here's where they show this company that came in, man, every time I do this, it just cacks out my internet, that did this like super high level deep scan of this apartment to give them like this mip mapping that they could use for these things. And they talked about how there was no way for them to animate this stuff one thing at a time, so they had to come up with all of these procedural systems to create like dust. Like, if you zoom into the floor, you'll see like the hair that is in carpet, right? That like everybody has in their carpet. If you were to put your face right up to somebody's floor, do you see like little pieces of string, little dust bunnies and stuff like that, and how they're working to put that into the textures of the game. And the result from this video is incredible, is like absolutely
holy shit,
mind-boggling. Like, this is some next gen. In fact, at the end they have this thing where they're showing like what the actual place looks like on one side, and then like what their engine render of it is on the other side.
They're really close.
And they're like, and we're talking about like stainless steel sink, with water in it. Like, it's not just like some real basic stuff, but this is a really interesting thing that's really worth a chance if you get a chance to look at it. It's called Dreadnought Diaries Episode 3, and it's from Ninja Theory. And I given the way that the faces worked out in Hellblade, like, I kind of have some faith in them, because they seem like they've done well in the past. I've talked about the Medium just about every week. They put out a trailer every week. There's a new trailer for the Medium that shows what it is. It's mostly just, it's like a puzzle game. They go into some of the different mechanics, the things that you can do in the real world and the spirit world. The game's going to be out like next Friday, and it's on Game Pass. Just go get it.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
Yeah. There was a full story trailer for Olija, which is that game that Devolver showed at one point, where you have like a pixel character that has like a spear that then They can like teleport to where the spear is. This trailer is a story trailer, and it goes over the whole story about like who the main character is.
It reveals a lot too.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I actually saw this one.
I thought it was really charming, and it made the game seem way like I was interested in it before, but I feel like this really kind of pushed it up to be like I really want to play this now. Like I really interested in this game. So, let's see. We also had a trailer for this game called Unspottable. Did you watch this trailer?
I did actually.
This is a Nintendo Switch game. I really kind of like this is like a take on the whole Among Us thing where it's a really kind of weird pre-rendered trailer, but then at the end it kind of shows what it is. It's basically like these big levels that are full of like robots that look like you know what it reminds me of is a weird version of the old Assassin's Creed multiplayer.
I was about to say that because there's because I remember that whole thing because the whole premise of this game is like which one is a player and which one isn't,
right?
Kind of thing. Like I think there's another kind of game. It's like a Gary's mod that's kind of similar. I don't remember what it's called, but what it is that the entire area is full of NPCs, and one of the NPCs is also one of your friends or whatever. It reminds me of that too, but like a lot more in this interesting simplified arena area.
Yeah.
Like from a top view, which I think is kind of fun, but it could be a fun thing if you get enough people to play it kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it says 2 to 4 players, and it seems like it may be more set up for like a couch co-op thing, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Let's see. We also had, I think I got too many trailers. Oh, we had a trailer for the Moving In update to Moving Out, which anybody who remembers Moving Out is where you grab furniture and like throw it on a truck, and you can throw it through windows. You can throw it. You can totally destroy the house as long as you get all the furniture in it. Apparently, they're putting out this free update where you have to move the furniture back into the house instead of just out of the house. And the main reason I brought this up, Michael, is because Moving Out was one of the very first games that was part of like the early Dojo Remoto days, like at the very beginning of the lockdown.
Oh, okay.
And it's been so long that they're now putting out the free update to try to keep the game going. So
good for them.
Yeah. Let's see. We got the Dead Zeppelin trailer for Zombie Army 4 Dead War, which I didn't actually know this, Michael. This Dead Zeppelin episode of Zombie Army 4 Dead War is the final episode of the second season of Zombie Army 4.
Huh.
Yeah. And like you bought the second season pass, this is the end of that. And it's just like a bunch of zombies, and there's a blimp, and the zombies are building a blimp, or there's something going on with the blimp.
Okay.
And I reinstalled Zombie Army 4 just to try to play this because I'm a sucker for a blimp and I like shooting zombies. And it's still pretty good. It's a pretty good game, but it's out. So if you're
that's really cool.
Yeah. And then let's see. We got a couple more things. Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning is coming out on the Switch on March 16th. It looks an awful lot like the Kingdoms of Amalur on other platforms. If you're into Kingdoms,
which is not a bad thing. Yeah, if you're into that could be on the go.
Yeah, if you want to play Kingdoms of Amalur on the go, they got you covered. And I only say this because it's Predator. Predator is coming to Fortnite. Sooner or later, Fortnite will have everything. Right? It's going to have every character from every game and every TV show. At this rate, because
you know how much the kids love the Predator, Jeff.
I was on the PlayStation 5 and I saw an ad where they were like the T-800 and Sarah Connor are in Fortnite. I'm like, I didn't even see that one.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Yeah, they just keep dropping character after character after character this year. Like that Green Arrow one wasn't even that long ago, that announcement.
Well, I think that the genius of it, Michael, is that it doesn't have to do anything that Predator does. All it has to do is look like Predator, but then you still get the gun, build the house, jump out of the airplane with your parasol or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't have to play like Predator. It just has to look like Predator. So
here's what I'll always say about Fortnite that I really appreciate is that they get these character models and you can get them to do stupid Fortnite dances, and it makes for amazing gifts.
That's true. And I'm gonna say I don't know if the xenomorphs from Alien are in Fortnite, but if they're not, they will be by next week. Like
most likely, yeah.
If you've got Terminator and you've got Predator, Aliens ain't that far away. And mark my words, Michael, is if they're willing to put Terminators and Predators in there, it's only a matter of time before they start putting fucking Freddy and Jason and shit like that in there too. So
yeah, actually, that's true.
Yep.
That's the most violent character, I think, outside of John Wick was in it too, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh shit. No, yeah, I forgot about that until right now.
Yep. Speaking of online video games, this was very strange. There was a whole news story this week about how no, Fall Guys is not going to be on Xbox Game Pass. I think this is a lie. They came out and said, sorry, there's been a bit of a mix-up. Fall Guys is not coming to Xbox Game Pass. There are no plans for Fall Guys to come in any form to Game Pass. But then there was a tweet before from the Xbox Instagram account or something where somebody was like, bring Fall Guys to Game Pass. And they were like, okay. I think this is cover like they did with Control, where it leaked the Control was going to be on Game Pass. And they were like, Control? What the fuck is Control? I don't know what Control is.
I've never heard of Control.
I don't know.
Control. Get out of here.
Yeah.
How did you get in here?
And then 2 months later, it was on Game Pass, and it was like, yeah, okay, cool.
Possibly, yeah.
Actually, we got some more Game Pass news. Game Pass is kind of full of cool stuff this month. So 21st, we got Control for the PC, Desperados 3 for the PC. I love the fact that Desperados 3 is on Game Pass. Everybody should play Desperados 3. Desperados 3 is awesome, and you should totally play it. Donut Country, that raccoon hole game, remember that one that had the trailers?
Oh, yeah. That's
on the PC, and Outer Wilds. And then at the end of the month, we're getting not just the Medium, but we're also getting that Cyber Shadow game from Yacht Club that Yacht Club is publishing.
Oh, okay.
That's like Ninja Gaiden in the future. January 26th, at least on the PC. Oh, and the console. And then January 28th, the rest of the Yakuza Remastered Edition, the 3, 4, and 5 Yakuzas will be on there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So. Oh, my God, my voice is about to die. Team Ninja's confirmed that their next project they are currently working on is not Neo and is not Ninja Gaiden. So Team Ninja is making something new, but for people who are a fan of Neo, it's not that. And for people who are a fan of Ninja Gaiden, it is not that.
That's interesting. I'm curious as to what they come up with next.
Yeah, me too. And now we got a couple of fun things. Somebody in Terraria turned an entire Terraria map into EVA-01 holding a battleship from Evangelion, which, everybody forgets that Terraria has a build system in it, so you can build stuff with blocks. And apparently, what did they say? That this two guys, it took them 70 hours to make this in Terraria. But
that's amazing.
It looks really good. It's a really cool rendition. They say their next thing is they're going to put EVA-02 somewhere on the other side so they could kind of jump between the two of them. And last but certainly not least, Michael, did you watch this video?
I did, and I was giggling like a madman.
So somebody, some fucking genius has basically made a mod that will grab debates out of Reddit and turn them into Phoenix Wright scenes. It basically, if you just type in !objection bot, it'll grab a Reddit thread. It'll take the two people with the most comments and put one of them as Phoenix Wright and one of them as Miles Edgeworth, and then literally put different animations and different music in the background. And then if other people chime in, they'll come in as Mia or some of the other characters like the judge.
That's amazing stuff.
And it's just great. When you watch this, it's just watching two people argue online, but through Phoenix Wright, which just kind of makes it 100 times better than it was.
Oh, 100%. I love when people make animations with Phoenix Wright, because there's a whole community that was just making random fake cases and stuff using these systems. But this is a way better idea.
This should be codified. I think that Capcom should put this, or is it does Capcom own Phoenix Wright?
Yeah, Capcom owns Phoenix Wright.
That they should make this into just a web app that lives forever and is able to do this with a bunch of different places, because I fucking love this. I wish there was just a Discord server where all of your messages just went back and forth in real-time Phoenix Wright instead of just Discord. I would totally install that thing on the Discord server.
So amazing.
And that is the last story. Oh my God, my voice is wrecked. It's so late. I was gonna say let's do a question, but I don't think I got the. Do you have the power of questions? Michael?
I can do one question. I think they deserve at least one.
All right, let's do one question. Is that what's been slowing down my thing?
Possibly.
Okay, here we go. Wiener Schnitzel wrote in a while back and said, Jeff, I did it. I beat Sekiro, all of it, every optional boss, all the way through. In 2019, I got stuck on Genichiro, but this holiday break, I gave it another try and got through it. I think it's a fantastic game. Would totally recommend giving it another try. Just forget everything you learned from Dark Souls. Frankly, I just wanted somebody to tell this, but I don't know anybody in my personal life who knows what Sekiro is, but I did come up with an actual question. So since I beat almost every Hidetaka Miyazaki game now, I was wondering, I was considering buying a PS4 and playing through Bloodborne as well. PS4 Slims are pretty cheap, but I don't know if Bloodborne runs smoothly on them. Are the loading times acceptable? Are there any other notable differences between a PS4 Slim and Pro? Happy New Year, all the health in the world, best wishes. And that's from Wiener Schnitzel. This came in 16 days ago. Oh, I'm so
Congratulations, though.
Yes, good job. I will never go back because here's the problem, Michael, is that I could go back to Sekiro, but if I get to the end of Sekiro and get too frustrated to finish it again, that's like another 25 hours that I have to spend to play all the way through Sekiro to get to the point where I give up again. Like I don't want to do that. So I'm not entirely sure. I think that let's see. PS4 Slims
they're just like original PS4s.
Right, they're not 4K.
They already ran fine on that to begin with.
Right, but they don't do 4K or any upsampling or any of that stuff. So you will be able to play Bloodborne. And the thing is that Bloodborne, but yeah, the opposite side, right, is that Bloodborne doesn't have, oh my God, are they scalping these things? Why is this $300 for a Slim?
I don't know.
They are because this isn't coming off of, this is like resellers. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking $300 used PlayStation. Don't buy a PlayStation 4. At least not if you have to pay $300 for it. God damn, that's way too much.
Well, I'm sure like in-person places have a bunch of them, so.
Yeah. So the main difference is that the PS4 Slim is a PS4 regular, as near as I could tell, right?
Yeah, they're just the regular ones.
So it won't do 4K. The opposite side of that is that Bloodborne doesn't have any PS4 Pro enhancements, so it only just runs better, right?
It doesn't do that much from what I remember. And I played Bloodborne on an original PS4, and it was fine. Like you aren't going to have any issues with it. Load times aren't ridiculous. It works fine. Like it was made for that system, and so it runs really well on that system.
The only thing that I would caution you about, Wiener Schnitzel, is if you're obviously you're a PC player. If you played this here, or maybe your Xbox, who knows? But Bloodborne doesn't run at 60 frames per second. And there's a good possibility that if you played all the rest of them on the PC, that you might have been running every Souls game at 60 frames per second. That's not a thing that Bloodborne can do. There's that guy that modder who modded it out to run at 60 frames per second, but it kind of fucked it up a little bit. And so PS5 doesn't have a patch for it. The PS4 Pro doesn't run it any faster than 30 FPS. I'd say just if you're running at 4K, you probably want it on a Pro. If you're running at 1080p, a PS4 Slim would be fine, or whatever you can get your hands on. So I tell you what, let's do one more because that one was short. This is a weird one. Jerry writes in and says, "Hello, Jeff and Michael. Jerry here, longtime subscriber, and will be for years to come. Woo! Had a question I was curious about. Disney just put out their future projects they're developing in Marvel and Star Wars universes. Again, some of these are older. Oh no, this one isn't. This one's not that old. This is like
not that old.
10 days old. Wondering what your thoughts are on those. For my main question, it got me thinking. What do you see in the future for Rage Select? I've always thought this channel should be 2 times plus the size that it is, since I know how much time you dedicate to it. P.S. I've started a drinking game where I take a shot every time Michael says kind of thing. Or kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually saw somebody comment that on the last podcast that we did.
Oh.
And now I realize it, but I don't care because I use it all the time during my actual work.
Well, there you go.
It's kind of the reason I started saying it, to be honest.
Because it's an ambiguous technical support term.
It absolutely is, which is why it comes up all the time.
That's
kind of thing.
That's from Jerry. I'll tell you what, Jerry, this is super easy. Well, it's easy for now. So right now, with what we've got going on, especially during the pandemic and especially with some of the schedule stuff that some folks that I record with have, we're probably going to be just riding business as usual. Like I'm trying to find some folks to come in so that I don't have to, so that Michael and I don't have to be recording a podcast at 11 o'clock on a Thursday every other week, which
it happens.
It happens. It's not the worst thing in the world, but there's some personal stuff for me that's changed my schedule around. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that, like, right now, I'm not looking to do anything really that much different than what we're doing. I love to play the games and hang out with people. I like the size that we're at because I like the fact that we don't attract a shitload of YouTube assholes, but you guys are so awesome that the patreon.com/Rage Select is still running, and it's running very well. It's bringing in enough that we're able to play the games that come out, as well as do some experimentation. There's some stuff I want to do next year. Like I've gotten some various things. Like I want to try to get an Oculus Quest. I want to try to get maybe a better PC this year to be able to do some maybe more VR stuff, maybe a better camera. I don't know. There's some stuff out in the future that I'd like to. Most of it's not anything different. It's just upgrading what I've got. In fact, a lot of what my plans for Rage Select were taken care of when I got a PS5 and an Xbox Series X. Like, that was part one, and that was a big part, and I'm glad I didn't have to fight for that, right? There's a possibility that I think our numbers are too low these days to get invites to E3, which I'd like to go back to E3, but, again, it's hard to say at this point more than, like, ask me in October when I can go outside again. Because right now it's very much just like, I don't think I have the mental energy to do anything but just kind of, like, maintain with what we're doing right now.
Well, some of the other, like, big plans that we could even consider doing are harder when there's can only be two people in a room at max, right? In general, so yeah, like, I'm sure we can come up with more stuff later down the line, but it's very difficult right now. So
yeah, like I mean, like, I know that people want to I know that people would love for us to have another Rage Cast, right? I would love to have another Rage Cast, but I'd
love that.
It would be, like, at this point, criminally irresponsible for me to invite a bunch of people into my house.
That would be a very bad idea.
And take
for
off
many reasons.
Their masks to talk into microphones. It would be no good. It would be no bueno. I mean, trust me, I want to have everybody that I know in my living room making my life difficult and, like, yelling and screaming and carrying on like fucking cats at a Showbiz Pizza. But
you remember when Bill and Jason Baldwin ate that really old pizza at that Rage Fest?
I do. I remember. I remember one of them. There was the guy that dropped a glass. He dropped one of my shitty Target glasses, and then, like, he felt so bad about it. He got me a bunch of really nice glasses. I love them. They're great. I've been using them ever since then. And it was just like, but it was like, dude, it's a party, man. Glasses get broken. This shit wasn't an heirloom. This was like, I bought this at Target. It was like $4. Like,
some of my favorite memories are from the Ragecast, and that was before I was on Rage Select proper. Like, I still remember being in the kitchen and Brian going, "I can't find the cup, so I'm just gonna take this bowl real quick."
Oh,
and then filling it with whiskey.
Yep, whiskey bowl. Yeah. I don't know that it would be quite as nutty as that. Like, the problem that you got here is that this is the problem the Marvel Cinematic Universe has, is that everybody's gotten old. Like, they've all gotten too old, and it's like, we need to recast Rage Select with, like, some new actors, but nobody wants to do this shit except for me. And even if there was new actors,
I'm here too, I guess.
Well, yes, that's true. And even if they were to put in new hot young new talent as the hosts of Rage Select, I would just go start a different Twitch channel and stream whatever fuck I wanted on it. If they recast Jeff from Rage Select with, like, Ninja and, like, a big, it was a big deal. they got all that money. They're like, we want you to make this channel really big, and they're like, Jeff, you're out. Ninja's going to start shaving his head. He's going to grow a beard. He's going to make your channel 8 times as big as it is now.
He's going to drink a lot.
I'll be like, fine, fuck you then. I guess I'll just make baldgenx.com and fucking play PlayStation 2 games forever. So take that, executive that I made up.
Sure.
So, I feel like that question didn't have a lot for you, Michael. Did you have any thoughts on the future of the Disney, Marvel, Star Wars universes?
About the Disney Marvel ones?
Yeah, about is it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago when they announced all that shit? I think I had Bryce on the week that they announced, like, What If and WandaVision and Captain America and all that Star Wars, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, the Bad Batch, and Cassian Andor, Rogue One with Patty Jenkins, all that stuff.
It leaves a lot of room for improvement when it comes to, because a lot of people are tired of the formula.
Yeah,
because there is a formula. Like Marvel is known for it now, and if you look at every movie, they all follow, or most of them follow, the same formula for the most part, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially since they've been going for like 10 plus years. But stuff like WandaVision shows that, hey, with these shows, you know, whatever the hell you want kind of thing, and you can get some really cool and inventive ideas that way. I worry more about the Star Wars side than I do the Marvel side, because with Marvel, there's so many different characters and comics and shit that you could mine for stuff like that you wouldn't have much trouble. The Star Wars people have to start for the most part from scratch, because sure, they're bringing in some of the extended universe stuff that they want to bring, but there isn't as much as a template that they can work with the same way Marvel does. And I'm only worried that they'll go too nostalgia based and then just ruin stuff. Like I feel like we were talking about The Mandalorian. I think it was off mic. I don't remember if it was on mic, about how much it kept bringing in other characters and was like, you know who they are and you know their backstory, right? So we're just going to move on.
Right.
But that's not entirely true for a lot of different people. And that's what worries me about the Star Wars one. Because at least with the Marvel ones, all that stuff was within the universe they built. And when they bring in something new, they usually explain it. But with Star Wars, they're just like, this is Ahsoka. Like, but who's Ahsoka? It's like, you watched Clone Wars, didn't you? I'm like, but what if I didn't watch Clone Wars? Like, well, did you watch Rebels? I'm like, no. like it's weird. They just sort of move on with it. And so, like, it's possible to make all these shows without doing that, but I'm just worried that too many people will want to do something like that.
Yeah.
And just ruin the whole thing outright.
Yeah, I worry about that too. And that will leave you with the worry, ladies and gentlemen. Check out more from Michael over at oneofus.net. And maybe if you want to go to that patreon.com/rage site, you can help us to keep it on. And that's the end of the show. Wait, mail@ragesite.com. I'm running out. I have like 3 questions left, so send in some questions. I cannot guarantee when we will get to them, but we will try to get to them. I don't know. Maybe the last show of the month, Michael, should just be no news, all questions.
Sure, why not?
But then there'll
that
be something
kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's right. Drink.